Jenny, how you going, mate?
No, not bad. There we go.
We're
Back
live.
again.
We're back. How you going, buddy? So,
Not bad at all.
we've got good on you, mate. We had a bit of a natter before we went live. Actually, we had Tom here for a bit. Tom Young, but he had to pop out because he's got an early shift tomorrow, making coffee for the fine people of Wales. But Danny was very kind to join us today, and we should have a couple other people coming in maybe later on, pinging on our doorstep to join our chat. So thanks everyone who's coming in to say hello and to watch us paint today. Good on. We've got Odin, Matt, Planet Tobor. Hey guys, how you going, guys? Thanks very much for coming in and saying hello. And I hope you're doing some painting with me and Danny today. Danny, what are you up to, mate? What are you painting today?
I actually have Jason's Chaos Vets back on the desk at last. I'm getting them painted up, ready for the video.
Oh, nice,
quite
man.
Fun. I'm trying to get back to
I heard
bad
them
boys for a while.
Yeah, I heard them talking about using your Blood Angels in the next battle report, or the next 40k game, I should say.
Yeah, he's got a few. If I could manage it, I would quite like to get, because I've still got some Terminators sat here for Richard. Like, it's kind of a combination of, well, I think they're like Rogue Trader ones, and then there's ones that are slightly bigger, but they're not the second edition ones. So I'm not sure how many editions of Terminators they released, actually. Well, hang on, let me see if I can... See if I can change the camera and I'll show you. See if you
okay, mate.
See if you can see what I mean.
I've got to change my glasses. This is how old I'm getting. I've got 2 pairs of glasses now, one for long, one for short.
Same here, actually. I'm there as well. There we go. Well,
yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
So we've got they're on slightly bigger. Yeah, they're on bigger bases because they're from Rich, but. So we got that one, and then we've got that one, but that one is ever so slightly bigger, and it's got slightly different detailing on the helmet. Okay. But when you look at the top of it, see, it's obviously not the ones that were released in second edition. Right. So it's got the wrong shaped knees, the wrong shaped top, and that lot, but it's definitely bigger than that one.
Yeah, it is, mate. It's considerably big. I can see it visually there. Like, it's way chunkier. So
yeah. So I honestly don't know how many versions of the Terminators Games Workshop released back in the day.
I'm like, when I look at the one on the right hand side, the bigger one. Yeah. That doesn't look like a real Citadel miniature to me. To be honest.
Reckon, huh?
The one on the left definitely looks like a real Terminator. But the one on the right, it just looks it looks weird. The head looks weird. It's way too big.
Okay.
So that's for me anyway, mate. I can't hold them physically, but even the shield looks weird, and the storm shield looks weird as well. Like, it just looks like
it does a bit.
It looks like a mishmash. Yeah, it looks like a mishmash of different models put together.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what they look like once I've stripped the paint off them then.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, these are these from Jace, are they? These ones?
They're from Richard. But yeah.
Oh, Richard.
Well, yeah, and he's right.
No,
see, Matt W says the hammer looks weird. Yeah, I mean, the hammer does look a bit odd, but I think that's because that's the original Thunder Hammer.
Right.
Hang on, we also got one. We got Endure Dude Plays Z. Hi there, can I ask a question about second edition 40k? Yes, mate, you can.
Absolutely.
Matt W, maybe an L bodge job. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm kind of interested to see, because it's got a mix of like that one, and then there is, I believe, no, that's still older one. That's an older one. Yeah, it's the older bodies.
Second generation, second edition models. Those ones. As far as
it looks it, but again, the tops.
Yeah,
I don't remember the
because the
second ed ones being that deep in the back.
because the first edition ones had all the tubing on the front of the leggings and on the legs and stuff, didn't they? Around the front, I think.
Right.
And yeah, the second edition ones were pretty plain. They had lots of like open flat details on the legs on the front of it. So anyhow, here's your question, mate. Now here's GM Cody there. And sci-fi,
Oh, yeah.
how you going, guys?
Can the psychic power quickening be used on a vehicle? I will be honest, mate, I don't actually know. I'll tell you what, if you keep him entertained for a minute, Josh, I will just leg it upstairs and grab the psychic cards unless you've got them there handy.
Sure.
Yeah, right, I'll be back in a couple of minutes. I'll go and grab it. And I will see.
Okay. It might be good if someone else can comment as well about that. I don't know. I know the quickening is an Eldar psychic power that allows you to. Maybe GM Cody will know. Actually, he's an Eldar player. And doesn't it allow you to shoot twice or something? Quickening sounds like. Or is quickening that's an Imperial power, isn't it? Yeah. Anyhow, I'm not all that cleared up on second edition 40k, to be honest, guys. I'm probably the worst person to ask. So I think Danny or one of the other guys here can definitely do you justice there. Oh, it's a movement. Kim Nix, how you going? Nice to see you here. Movement speed. Okay. So quickening increases your movement. All right. Thanks, mate. 3d6 move, 36 in movement. Okay.
Unless somebody else has already answered the question.
Somebody
else already answered the question. Let's have a look. Movement. No, right.
Odin
Right.
said
Let's have a
movement.
look.
So
right, I just grabbed the thing. So machine curves.
Yeah, it's an Imperial power. I thought it was like an Eldar power, but I think it's an Imperial power, isn't it?
Yeah.
Librarian or what do you call it? Adeptus powers.
Yeah, I need my glasses. Let's have a look. Quickening. There we go. Right.
Librarian power.
So,
okay. It doubles move. Well, it's a movement stat, so I doubt it because it's a move and attack. So unless it's the actual crewman.
I don't know. Hang on. So the librarian creates an accelerated time field around himself or another model within 6 inches, making it seem that the subject speeds up to a blur whilst everything else is hardly moving at all. The subject doubles its movement, initiative, and attacks characteristics as long as quickening is in play and can fire twice in the shooting phase. If it once used, quickening remains in play until nullified or the librarian is killed. This card may be placed with the librarian or at the edge of the table. Quickening may be used on only one model at a time. I mean, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very clear. It says model and it says subject. It never says anything specific about it has to be a troop type or anything like that. It just says model. So I mean, doubling movement and attacks and I mean, I don't know.
If I'm really say honest, on a dreadnought, yes. On a dreadnought, absolutely.
Yeah, but on a tank, maybe not.
No, I would say definitely not because it doesn't follow the like if it's a bike like an Orc bike or a Space Marine bike, yes, you can double the movement of it. You can double the initiative of the driver and double the attack of the driver of the rider. Yeah. But a vehicle that's like fully enclosed that has like crew, yeah, you could do it on the crew, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's been FAQ'd at some point. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Reading the card, it doesn't say that you can't do it on a vehicle, but like Josh has just pointed out, if you do it, it doesn't quite make sense to do it on a vehicle, but then it might do. So I mean, either the best I could say is have a look, see if it's popped up on the second edition 40k Facebook group. I believe in their download part has got all the FAQs and the Q&As and everything like that, and it might have been answered in that. Yep. If it hasn't been answered in that, my best advice would be to say, like Josh says, yes, you could do it on dreadnoughts, yes, you could do it on a bike, because it's got like a space marine or somebody actually controlling it or in it. And when it comes to vehicles, roll a dice for it. You know, a 1 to 3, yes, you can. 4 to 6, no, you can't do it on a tank. You know, do it that way. Leave it to the dice gods to decide, mate. Yeah. Unless your opponent is avidly dead set against it, then I mean, yeah, I'd say dice off, or just leave it to doing dreadnoughts and bikes and stuff.
Yep, that makes sense.
Or look if it's in an FAQ somewhere.
Yeah. Okay, I hope that answers your question, guys.
We've got Sci-Fi 72 says it might have been covered in a Battle Bible FAQ on the Discord. All right.
I think that's a very good suggestion. Yeah, check that out. Definitely check it out. Battle Bible. If you haven't heard about it, just check it. Just Google it. Battle Bible, F40K second edition. You'll find it. It's just like a PDF document you can just download, or a Word document, and it contains everything. I think Kent Fury went on about it a lot, about the Battle Bible as the main source now for people to play second edition. They're coming back into it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. All right. So yeah, Enderdude, just check out the Battle Bible, mate. It's probably been covered in there because it's basically a compilation of all the FAQs, every single White Dwarf article, all the codexes, everything, all in one single tome. So go and check that out and let us know, educate us about it. Yeah, that'd be good.
According to GM Cody, according to Dark Millennium rules on page 13, it would technically be legal to do it on a vehicle.
Wow. Very controversial. Very controversial.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I say, one of the beautiful things about second edition is sometimes the rules aren't that crystal clear. And like it says in, like, what is it? The introduction to the rule book in second ed. Sometimes it's not covered. Sort it out amongst yourselves. So, I mean, you know. We had a painting question pop up as well a little bit earlier for you, Josh.
Oh, okay. Here we go. My good friend Matt. A paint question for Josh. Do you prefer the old Vallejo game color to the new, more matte ones? Myself, I prefer the old ones still, and the bottles I find are better. I find the bottles of the old game color. Now, let me get some examples here. Okay, this is and they got rid of this opaque line, extra opaque line, which is a real shame. I love these extra opaque ranges for the old Vallejo game color. I think they're the best, some of the best paints I ever made. So this is the old bottle, and it's like a hard walled bottle with a better applicator or a nib on the end of it, and has very minimal excess paint coming out of it. And then you compare it to something. This is the new one, thin walled, and like the paint is just been oozing out of this bloody thing. It's just everywhere, just all over the place. And I really don't like these bottles at all. I do like the paint. I really like the paint. The paint quality is very, very high. Pigmentation is very, very high. So yeah, excellent paint, just not a fan of the bottles. So I hope they go back to this. I don't know why they changed it. It sounded like that it cost them a shit ton of money to change all the labels, all the branding, everything. It's just really unnecessary. I don't give a shit about the branding. Just give me the paint. That's what we're paying for. So I hope that answered your question there, Matt. The new, more matte ones. I haven't seen any. Game color. You're talking about game color. The model color. I haven't tried the model color, and they're supposed to be the matte finish. These are supposed to be satin finish, the game color ones, and the ones that I do have got a really nice satin finish. So I haven't seen any matte finish on those ones yet, mate. If that's the one you're talking about. Bleatron, good to see you here again, mate. The new Vallejo line does seem to have been driven by a bunch of cost-saving moves, so not surprised the old ones are better. Yeah, not a bad move considering they made 53 million euros in a one of those, some bloody company bought into Vallejo, paid them 53 million, and then they try to cheat their workers out of paying them absolutely bugger all money and giving them really bad working conditions. So that's all been solved apparently now, all been fixed up. But they went through a bit of strife there. All their employees went on strike in Spain. And if you can survive on $30 a day in Barcelona, good luck to you. I don't know how you guys are doing it. Seems really criminal to me. So yeah, but it looks like they're getting their work practices sorted now. I do use Vallejo products, like the paintbrushes are very good. The paintbrushes are very nice. So I do like their products. I don't particularly like their work practices. Okay, Sci-Fi, just because of Joss, I now have to make 40 or so custom bases for HeroQuest minis. His HeroQuest minis look so good. I have to try myself. Yeah, actually, that's a good one there, Sci-Fi. I'm actually going to do a video for that, and that should be coming out. I might try to do it soon, actually, before the next installment for Advanced HeroQuest comes out. That's already done. It's up on Patreon now, so any of my patrons can watch it. Owen Staten, I love you, mate. He's done an amazing narration job for the second one. Really happy about the series. The next series we're going to do for the next quest, it can be even better. I've got some extra ideas of how I'm going to film it. I've got a new felt underlay down the bottom, so it's going to be nice and dark and it look more professional. I've got a whole heap of bases to paint up. I'm going to do Skaven as the next lot of miniatures to paint up for that. So there'll be more Splatter Natters. We're going to cover those. They'll be covered in the next studio update for this month. So you'll see a lot of Skaven featured in that one, plus the bases and everything like that. So exciting times where Advanced HeroQuest is concerned. So anybody who's a fan of that, you'll be really, really happy to see and hear that there's lots more coming for that. Thanks to Owen for his amazing collaboration with that series.
Oh yeah, I really do like the narrations and that are amazing on there.
Yeah, they're brilliant, mate. I mean, you've either got me, Steve Irwin, or you've got like a Welsh storyteller. Which one would you want? I mean, I think it's just a no-brainer for me. It's like, oh, there's a couple of orcs coming down. They look like big lads with big choppers. Oh, crikey. So yeah,
it gives the wrong mental image when it hears you saying the orc coming down with his big chopper in his hand. It's like, yeah, that's not the mental image I want.
Fair dinkum, mate. Come on, give us a fair crack of the whip. Tie me down. Tie me kangaroo down sport. Tie me orc down sport or something like that. Yeah. So having Owen there is just brilliant. I mean, this is the dream project for me. I couldn't. Of all the things I've ever made, this is the best. I mean, I can't. I love making those videos. I've been watching. I've watched the first installment about 10 times or more. I just love listening to it, and I've had so many great comments about people saying how much they loved the new one. I'm a little bit disappointed with the view count. So if anybody can share that video to as many people, just disseminate that as far and wide as you can. I will really want it just for Owen. It's not for me. It's for Owen to get as many people to watch that video as possible. It had a very low view count, only 2K views, which is, in comparison to the other ones I did, which had just me doing the solo Advanced HeroQuest, they did much higher. So I really think that video deserves it like a 20,000K view, easy. So please share that around, guys, as much as you can, so people know about it and they can follow the series along as we make more and more of those. GM Cody, I hope GM Cody's going to join us today. He might be doing a little bit later when his wife's off the computer, but he's painting some really nice old hammer orcs, getting ready to play 6th edition with some guys he's met up in Tennessee. So if you're in Tennessee in the USA, and if you're an old hammer or play 6th edition or whatever, play Love Fantasy or 40k 2nd edition, because Cody plays 2nd edition. He's got a wonderful looking Harlequin army. Get in touch. Put your comments below, and we'll get you in touch with Cody. Our Discord is the best way of doing that. So if you're not a member of our Discord, please sign up. It's totally free. It's a fantastic community. It's got over like 900 people involved now, and we're connecting people to find where they are, where they're living, getting people to play games, and all that kind of thing, and making it it's very, very good social hub for people involved in our part of the hobby. Yeah, yeah. Thank fuck for that, Rolf Harris. There's one prick who needed to die, it was him. So thank God for that. Yeah.
Not a Rolf Harris fan, I take it, no?
Not being a fucking pedophile, no.
Oh, was he?
In hell, that prick. Yeah. Yeah, mate.
Oh, I did not know that part.
It.
I also, my rock is quite good that I live under, thankfully, but I did not know that part. All right, okay.
Him and who was the other creepy asshole that was doing it too?
We had Jimmy Savile, he was the real bad
That's
one.
it, Savile. Him and Savile,
yeah.
They had like a video up on YouTube the other day with them together with a young girl. Oof.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
On TV, like obviously they're broadcasting on BBC.
Yeah,
yeah. Not to go down to. I actually forgot his name, which is great, actually. Yeah, but they're just horrible fucking people, basically.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm glad they did.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, we're not gonna go down that road, guys. We know what horrible, just depraved, disgusting, evil bastards they were, and they're dead, thank God. So, let's not mention their names ever again. Okay, so I'm going to get into some painting. I think we should get crack on, because I've got these wonderful Test of Honor miniatures here that I bought for my birthday last year. And as my birthday is rolling around next month, I didn't bloody finish it. So I thought, that's it. I'm going to get these guys done. I'm going to put on my spectacular binoculars, as I do need these things to see, along with these specs.
I've got my times-3 readers I use for when it's fine detail work, or my eyes get a bit tired.
Yeah, mate, I really need them, because otherwise I honestly just can't see that well. And then when you photograph something and you think, oh my God, like they look terrible now, then just wearing these things, even though, it is a bit of a pain to have these on your head. But they're a better alternative to the things I used before, which were just hanging off the frame of the glasses, and they really sort of, weighed the glasses down or the frame of the glasses onto your nose, and it sort of hurt after a while. Right. So these are much, much better.
Have you seen those the ones that kind of it's not they go on your glasses. I'm not too sure. They look like they go like on your head, but they go in front of your glasses. I don't know if you've seen those.
Yeah, I think they're the ones I had. They clip onto your frames.
Oh right, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Is it? Okay. If that's the one you're talking about, that's the one I had. Yeah.
Is that the same ones basically that Rich has got? You've seen the ones that Richard's got?
I think so. He's got the ones with like the white framed ones.
Yeah. All right. Is that what they do? Do they clip onto your specs then?
No, I think they're an actual because he doesn't. I don't think he uses. I don't think he wears glasses. So they're basically like an actual like they look like sunglasses, the frame, but they've got like just the visor in front of it instead of actual lenses.
Right. Yeah. I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm long-sighted. That's all I am. So like every day-to-day stuff, like I don't need them. But when it comes to looking at small things up close, I do now.
Yeah.
And especially if my eyes are getting tired, like the smaller the detailers, like edge highlighting, especially things like that, then it's I do need the glasses now for it.
I do need my glasses. I sound like an old decrepit old fool.
When I try and read my White Dwarf in bed and things like that, it's like, glasses are needed for that.
Yeah, mate. Yep. Okay. Black. Money. What is he? What is he? What's this guy called? Okay, must be a samurai then. Former samurai, money lender or something. So how you going, Lee? Lee McCullum, thanks very much for joining us, and I'm glad you're happy to see us. Yeah, the plastic card. That's what I was using, plastic card for the bases for the advanced HeroQuest stuff. I've got a whole heap of them sprayed up now, so I will be doing a painting video on that in the next video, and how to make one. It's dead simple. I could probably do one here now actually, but I'll wait for the video, guys. Just wait for the video. It's really simple, and I may have a Warhammer Quest commission to do later this year. So I'll be using all of that sort of style basing on that for that one as well.
I was going to say, didn't you already do a video on doing your Warhammer Quest bases?
Not to actually. Yeah, I sort of just had shown them finished, but not actually how I made them or how I painted them in detail. So.
Oh, I'm sure I saw you do. I mean, it wasn't in detail, but it showed like the sort of colours you used and stuff.
Oh, we did it on a Splatter Natter. Maybe you weren't there.
Oh, right, that must have been what I was watching. Yeah, I rewatched that. Oh no, I was watching it, I believe, at the time or something, because I wasn't on, but I was watching it.
Right.
Or did I watch it afterwards? Yeah, that must have been where I saw it then.
Yeah, why weren't you there? I can't remember why you weren't there then.
I can't remember. I think I was tired and not feeling well or something.
Right. Yeah, we did it with the airbrush. I did with an airbrush. Oh, that's right. No, it was in an afternoon. It was my afternoon, your morning. That's why, I think.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, no, I was really impressed with that base. Like, for something so simple. And then when you finished it, it was one of those really annoying sort of things I see people do sometimes, where halfway through it looks nothing like the way it does when it's finished, and then you blink and then it's done. You're like, holy crap! Oh, wow!
Just having those little lines and darks, and like doing little dark pockets here and there, or little chips and stuff like that. Yeah, it can make it's a nice illusion. I think that's what it's creating.
Yeah, it worked really well.
Yeah, I'm really happy with those. I'm glad I did it now.
Yeah,
because it does make a big difference. Yeah, so
we've got Emperor Jim says evening all. Evening.
Hey, Emperor Jim, how you going, mate? Good to see you.
Blood Angel Scout is in.
Oh, good on him.
He says, thanks for the squats. You're perfectly welcome, mate. I'm glad you like them. I'm hoping to see the whole force up together in October, mate. If you can make it, they are it's going to be quite nice. And we got Eye of the Maelstrom. Yeah. Evening to you as well, mate.
Yep, so people who don't know, Danny is a commissioned painter from Nostalgiahammer Hobbies YouTube channel. So please check out his channel, guys. The links are in the description. I think I put the Cauldron of Paint link in there too. I can't remember. I'll have to check. But yeah, if you want commissions done, by Danny. Cauldron of Paint is the website you want to go to.
Yeah, you can get your quote. You can see some price lists, and you can see galleries of any of the work that I've done previously as well.
Yeah, it'd be good when the guys do the Blood Angel army for the on their channel. The Bring a Battle guys.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting that lot finished for them. To be honest, I know they keep saying to me to not worry about their stuff and concentrate on my Eldar, but I'm really keen to get all of Richard's Blood Angels done and get this lot done for Jason for his Chaos stuff. Like I say, I've still got, for Richard's Blood Angels, I've got these Terminators, I've got a unit of Scouts, a Dreadnought, a Tech Marine, and Mephiston to do still for him, which I'd really love to get done. And then, like I said, this Chaos army for Jason is probably going to be somewhere in the region of about 2,000 points by the time it's all done.
Right, okay.
Like bits and bobs, because I've done the Dreadnought. That was not part of the list that he sent me to do, so that's on top. And I've got the Great Demon, the Rogue Trader era Keeper of Secrets, which if I manage to get a chance, I'd quite like to get that painted up for October, because they also sent me some of the second edition Demonettes. So if I can get those painted up, I reckon that would make a really good army. I mean, I'll keep the Keeper of Secrets will be mine, but I'll let Jason use it, sort of thing. You know, and then bung that all in together. That should, some nice demons put in there. Then I can add a couple of little bits of the Eldar in there, bump the armies up. That could be some very interesting ones, and I'm really keen to see it on their channel as well.
Yeah, mate. For sure. Well, they're playing out the last game in the Codex Series Wars at the moment tonight.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how Jason does against that horde list of Richard. I went against. I did not bring enough heavy weapons or anything. Whenever I killed something, they just seemed to spread out and multiply. It was quite amazing to play against, to be honest. It was a very, very fun game, but not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah, I looked at Rich's Tyranid lineup, and I thought, yeah, that doesn't look like fun to play against, to be honest. So
I don't know. I think it was an awful lot of fun to play against, but I don't know. Yeah, no, it was a really, really fun game, actually. I think it's like going against a full horde list like that poses some really fun, interesting challenges. Like I say, the only thing I can think of, like the best way I can think of, at least for being Space Marines, you've got quite low body count when it comes to Space Marines. Like Rich thinks heavy bolters, but I mean, yes, a heavy bolter can potentially pump out 6 shots, but you could also potentially roll double jam, and then you're screwed for 2 turns. Or you could roll 2 1s, or you could roll a 1 and a jam or something like that, Whereas if I'm thinking like missile launchers would be good, because you take like frag missiles. If you miss, it scatters. If you're going into a horde army like that, you're probably still going to hit something. Yeah, or you have like plasma guns, because they can be template if you fire them at high power or whatever. So take your heavy plasma guns, heavy plasma cannons. And I reckon like heavy flame, like Terminators with heavy flamers, because assault cannon can be really good for laying down like loads of shots, but like that's not necessarily going to do as much as a heavy flamer burst straight into the middle of a swarm or something.
So is he playing Marines then? Is he?
Jason? No, I think Jason's Eldar.
Oh,
so it's
wow.
Eldar.
Okay.
Yeah, he's taking Eldar against the swarm. Let's have a look. I don't think so. I have some lovely 3. Yeah, I'm looking forward to those Blood Angels, mate. They'll be quite interesting to paint. And we've got Odin. That's why you take 4 of them. 4 of what? Did I miss something? Missile launchers are a bit much in points. Better to have loads of autocannon or heavy plasma. Did Space Marines have autocannons? I thought they only had heavy bolt. I mean, you got autocannons on the Predator, but Devastator squads, I thought, only had heavy bolter. 4 heavy bolters. Plasma. Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, I noticed Blood Angels, mate. I will reply to you tomorrow morning, mate. Odin, heavy bolters. Yeah, that's true, but like, I don't know. I had a few heavy bolters, and plus I don't tend to roll very well on dice, so you know I could roll. I'd roll quite a lot of double ones for heavy bolters. So I kind of like the templates. I think that's why I like the templates, because my bad dice rolling comes into it. I try and take away as much of the randomness as possible. So, like I say, with crack missiles, yeah, they're more expensive points wise, but like I said, if you miss with a crack missile, it scatters. If you're going into a swarm, that template's probably going to hit something. Flamers, templates, you know, heavy plasma guns on. I think it's on the heavy maximum fire mode. Does template, you know. That would be my thinking, but you know, I'm by no means a tactical genius. Hand flamers on assault squad, yeah. Or hand flamers on Death Company. Aha. Death Company with anything, just Death Company in general. If you take Blood Angels and don't take Death Company, I think that's borderline heresy myself. Get Space Marines, get autocannons in the options. Oh, I didn't know that. Fair enough. Same thing as Scouts with multi. Oh, right, okay. I knew they had the multi-melter option and you had to convert that up, but I didn't actually know that you could give them autocannons. So, you learn something new every day, which with me is not difficult, because my general rule knowledge is not the best. This is why I rely on other people being far better at the game than me. Yeah, assault cannons for Overwatch is good. I think Dark Angels have probably got the best options when it comes to Overwatch. If you give them is it the Banner of Wrath? I think it's the Banner of Wrath that allows any unit within a certain distance of it to fire as if they're on Overwatch, if they're ever charged. You know, you put the standard bearer near a Terminator unit, and then you put them in the middle. Basically, put them in the middle of a Devastator unit and a Terminator unit. Storm bolters and assault cannons and heavy bolters for days, and then you know, fire in the shooting phase or whatever. Get charged, and oh look, banners nearby. Overwatch, haha. And then watch your opponent hate you vehemently. Blood Angels Force have no Death Company. You should be ashamed as well, Blood Angels. You need a Death Company. And they did do well versus my Blood Angels. Yes, that's very true. I can't remember. Did we draw that one or did you win that game, mate? I think you might have beaten me in that one. I can't quite remember. Painful memories have been blocked out.
Okay. I've got to change class all the bloody time. It's a pain in the ass, this.
Oh, it did well, but I won. Fair.
All right, guys. So I hope you guys are painting. Let us know what you're painting today. Hope you're not just sitting there and watching us paint. You got to paint. That's the whole purpose of this Splatter Natter thing.
Listening to me twaffle on as well.
So, I hope you guys are doing some good hobby today. Now it's, oh my God, it's snow. It's snow outside.
Snowing? Huh.
Yeah, it's brilliant. All the roof of this house is all white. That's awesome.
Oh.
We had, for people who don't know, we had Dietz from Anvil of Doom here with his lovely wife visiting Japan on their honeymoon, and she's never seen snow before. So we kind of hoped, because it was raining yesterday, and we just had a tiny little bit of sleet. It wasn't really snow, and but I think she got a bit excited that it was going to snow yesterday. But it's snowing now, so hopefully in Tokyo, where they are, they can see some white snow in the park or something like that, which would be lovely. It's quite romantic, really, isn't it, when you think about it?
Yeah, as long as you're inside in the warm.
Yeah, exactly. Well, in the hotel they're staying at, Dietz has got he's staying in a hotel where there's like an onsen on top of the roof, so you can go there, freeze your bollocks off on the roof, jump in the hot onsen, mate. That'd be awesome. I love that, in an open onsen, so you've got like snow falling on you. I've done it once before. It was absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I love all that.
All right, here we go. So what we got here? We've got in the chat
Space Pirates.
We got Bleentron, no painting, building instead. What are you building, mate? And we got Odin, painting ghouls, fourth ed ghouls and zombies. Ooh, very nice.
Yeah.
Fourth ed, as far as I'm concerned, is my heyday of fantasy models. Blood Angels, just enjoying the chatter. Well, thank you very much, mate. We've got Lee McCullen, 2021 HeroQuest Dread Warriors. Oh, okay.
Maybe the Chaos Knights, maybe? Dread Warriors? Sounds like it.
And we got Eye of the Maelstrom, busy painting a load of 3D printed 8mm World Eater vehicles for Legions Imperialis. Nice.
Awesome. Good stuff.
Emperor Jim's painting Epic Angron. Very nice.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Emperor Jim's stuff is awesome.
Oh, yeah. Bleentron is working on some space pirates as a break from the techno barbarians. Cool. Sci-fi onsen in snow makes me think of those red-faced bathing monkeys.
Yeah. Well, Dietz is one of those red-faced bathing monkeys now. He'll be up there now. So.
GM Cody painting 4th edition Night Goblin Archers.
Yeah, when you're jumping in, Cody? I thought you were coming in today. Maybe the missus is still on the computer, mate.
Oh, Lee McCullen says Hasbro can't call them Chaos Warriors. It's the Hasbro version of HeroQuest. So they can't call them like Chaos Warriors. They got to call them. What was it they were called? What was it?
Something or other.
Dread Warriors. Yeah.
Warriors,
yeah. I see. All right. Yeah.
Okay, it must be just a licensing issue. It's not like a copyright. It's just a licensing issue that they've. I've got the wrong fucking glasses on. No wonder I can't see shit. I think, bloody hell, my eyesight's getting worse. Got the wrong bloody things on.
Yeah. To be fair, I'm sure the wrong glasses is what's making my eyesight get steadily worse as well. It's not the fact that I'm actually aging.
So I can't read the screen, guys. Sorry. I think Daddy has to read comments now. Sorry.
Nothing you come up yet, not unless I've missed it. I should check my screen is updating properly.
I'm enjoying painting the widow from this set though. She's a mean girl. This widow, she's out for vengeance, out for blood. She'll have it.
Mind to keep it low, mate. You do again. There we go.
Thank you. Oh, wait.
So one of the boys there, mate.
Huh?
So one of the boys there.
my,
Mate?
yeah, my eldest has just popped in quickly to grab something.
Okay. So you're making your tea too?
No. I'm not entirely sure I'd want him to make. Actually, no, that's not fair. I think he has made me cups of tea in the past. He's not too bad.
Yeah.
It's just he's 18.
Because-
It's a good luck getting him to do anything for you these days.
Because obviously the word tea is also used for dinner, isn't it? Making dinner. What's for tea?
Oh yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Okay, so guys in the chat, if you're there, pose some questions for us. Let's get the conversation going. Let's get the natter warmed up. Okay, as we paint and concentrate. Otherwise, I just get lost and I just go quiet. I think Danny may be the same. So try to reinvigorate the chat here, guys. Pose us some questions. But I'm trying to get this khaki coloured top on this widow lady close to the really nice paint jobs actually from the studio. I think Jez Album does those paint jobs for them for Grey for Now. He's done a good cracking job on these. But I will add some freehand because that's one of the things he doesn't do a lot is the freehand or the little, sakura emblems or markings or whatever on the pants and stuff. So I'll just do that as the little blemishes there to make them a little bit more exciting.
Yeah. We've got a question from Sci-Fi. Hang on, I'll put my other glasses on so I can read the screen better. By reading with those ones, I get a headache. Swap the glasses over. There we go. Right. If you're going to recommend somebody to get into the hobby, would you suggest investing in a 3D printer instead of buying models? No, I would not. And I will explain myself on that one because I know that can be a sort of a hot button issue and everyone bangs on about 3D printers, myself included, okay? But from what I can see from 3D printers, unless you are going to be getting either a pretty decent one and you're still looking at like 300-400 quid, which isn't cheap. I know old hammer models can be expensive, but for 400 quid, you can get yourself a decent few models for that. Or you are like 3D printing is essentially a hobby into itself. Like you've really got to narrow down and like nail down all sorts of settings and everything else like that when it comes to doing it. So if they're just like getting into the old hammer hobby, I would just say, if you want to get into the old hammer hobby, the models can be a bit steep. like once you're more into it, then yeah, invest in a 3D printer. Personally, like 3D printer for me, yeah, like the Emperor Jim says, 3D printing is a hobby in itself. It pretty much is. There's so much involved with it. But now, this is one where I want to get a 3D printer because you can actually get. Hang on, let's swap the cameras over so you can see my glorious face whilst I'm talking. Boop, there we go. Right, so as I was saying, like the one thing I want a 3D printer for, and I'm probably going to do some of this in videos in the future, and these could be considered entry level ones, is if you were to go for like the resin ones and go for some of the cheap ones, which you can get brand new for just over 100 quid. Probably if you were to go in and you'd have change from 300 quid if you were to get yourself a resin 3D printer and a proper cleaning curing station that goes along with it. Again, not something you necessarily need, but I think they do the job a little bit better than a homemade one. No experience on this, so it's not a hill that I'm dying on. This is just my opinions, okay? Anyone in the chat who knows better than me, please don't hunt me down and kill me because I will cry. But if you were to go in and get like one of the smaller 3D printers with a cleaning curing station, if you're doing things like terrain, for example, and I'm not even talking like printing out entire chunks of terrain, like if you wanted to do like the old Hammer style terrain, like mostly for sci-fi, so like the old forts or refinery stations and things like that, you could use a mix of your cardboard stuff, which you could do it like the old Blue Peter style, where you make the cardboard tubes and all that, and you make your basic structure. And then where you've got bits that are attached to them, which look a little bit more complicated, like a control panel with a turn wheel on it and stuff like that. Those things are what I reckon a 3D printer would be absolutely ideal for. Because you'll be able to find, you'll probably rather be able to find the files to print them off for free on different sites that there are. Again, I don't do it, so I don't know what these sites are, but there's one that's really well known, but I keep forgetting the name of it. And those, I reckon, that's what a 3D printer would be really good for. The other thing that I reckon a 3D printer would be would be very good for, and again, you could probably use the cheaper ones, is especially regarding old Hammer models for especially second ed 40k or anything else like that. Plastic arms, shoulder pads, backpacks, and weapons. Like trying to find the original sprues of them. There's not that many of them, and they usually want like 9-10 quid a sprue. Which, if you just want the power axe off one, yeah. But if you've got a 3D printer, I mean, yeah, fair enough. 300 quid. You're thinking that's a lot of money, and yes, it is. But if you've got yourself an entire, I don't know, I'll do Blood Angels because that's what I do. So I use Blood Angel, for example. And I need all the arms, all the shoulder pads, all the backpacks, all the close combat weapons from the assault squad, all that sort of stuff. If you're looking at paying anything from 7 to 9 quid a sprue just to get one of these weapons, yeah, you print out just the individual weapons that you want for it. That's basically paid for itself there. So there you go. That's my stance on 3D printers. Agreed. You can disagree if you want. I would love to hear actually any opinions that you've got on it. Crack right on in there. What else have we got? I waffled through and missed a whole load. If you're going to recommend, right. Acron the Black from the Talon of Death. What do you think about that? I have no idea, Odin. What's that? Archron the Black from the Talon of Death. What do we think about that? I have no idea what that is, Odin, my mate. Please explain. Lee McCullin. Okay, when are you going to do a Warhammer Quest playthrough? I'm guessing that one's for you, Josh.
Well, if my good mate, I think he's in the States. I did a quote for Warhammer Quest, as in the entire base set plus the expansions and all the characters, all the heroes and everything, as a mega commission, which it looks like it's going to go through. And that's what I was referring to before about doing all the basing for that. I was going to suggest to him that I would do it in the same way, where all the bases will be all different colors like red and blue and beige and gray and all that kind of thing to match all the tiles, and green. I think I've got green tiles as well. So if that comes to fruition, and whenever I get to, to paint all of that, then I will definitely do some playthroughs of it, because I know Paul's got all the tiles and stuff printed and all the cards and everything. He just doesn't have the miniatures, so that would be a really nice way where we could match all that together and do a playthrough of that. It won't be extensive. It won't be like the Advanced HeroQuest, because obviously I'll paint it and ship it back to the owner. So, but yeah, we will definitely have something for Warhammer Quest in the future. So that's definitely in the cards. I will be definitely doing HeroQuest, probably as a Keller's Keep or Return of the Witch Lord series for YouTube, with Owen, I hope, if he's willing and wants to do that. To me, way in the future, once we get through the initial quest with the guys, what we're doing now, which are all free on Patreon. You can go watch them anytime you want. All the videos we've got up there, they're like just live videos that we do when we record them and play them through Discord. So you can watch all of that. There's a whole catalogue of videos there. Once we get through the initial base game quests, then we'll do HeroQuest with one of the expansions, which will be really fun. So yes, lots of dungeon delving action on the Crown of Command, that's for sure, because I love all those games. That's how I started getting into all of this, through playing HeroQuest. So yes, definitely. So Planet Tobor says, my 3D printer has definitely paid itself for itself rather quickly, but it's messy and definitely not for everyone. Resin. Yeah, I totally agree, mate. I agree with the sentiments that Danny talked about 3D printing. It's not like, even though I was interested in getting a FDM printer for terrain, mainly for like Test of Honor, Baron's War, printing out things like barrels and like cartwheels, not cartwheels, is it cartwheels? Wheels, stuff that's being scanned in for terrain pieces for making fantasy terrain. Doing like doors, printing out doors, window frames, all that kind of stuff. It would be just amazing to do all that kind of thing. For miniatures, I think there's an art to it, and I was looking at some stuff for Dietz yesterday. I gave him some prints from Brauniac. They're beautifully printed, just gorgeous, but super fragile. They're super fragile. So it definitely has its uses. And you can print out entire armies. I know guys who play with entirely printed armies. So it's definitely something for people who are really into that. And I think once you get into it, it just becomes a hobby in itself. So, the commission I just did, completely printed. It's all scanned in. Tom did this one. So it's all scanned from other models, and he made his own miniature out of it. So, and printed it. So it's definitely consideration, but if you've got the space, time, the energy bill, if you want to pay all the extra costs of paying for all of that, then go for it. So yeah, I'm not against printing. I'm not 100% an advocate for printing, but I can definitely see its uses. These miniatures I'm painting now have been sculpted in 3D. And then obviously printed, and then cast in a mold and made metal miniatures out of. So, it's definitely a big part of our hobby now, and I can see some really good uses. I saw some beautiful terrain that Scott showed me the other day for Baron's War, all printed out through a printer. Looks amazing. So, so Lee bought himself.
FDM resin prints are really good for dungeon terrain. Yeah. That's what I think personally. Like, unless you really know what you're doing, then I think 3D printing models is just like, it's not something that's for everybody, especially beginners. But terrain is something. Especially the beautiful thing with like scattered terrain and stuff like that. Even if you have a print which doesn't work properly, it's damaged terrain. Like, generally you can get away with it, I would say.
And the battle wagon I've got that Current Effects got for me, that's printed. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant piece of for that kind of thing. I think it works really well because it's big and solid. It's not very fragile. Whereas the Brauniac Chaos Dwarves, beautifully, printed and designed miniatures, but super, super, super fragile. So many little tiny little details and points on it that could just snap off, when you drop them. So, but that, the technology is going to get better and better, I suppose, and the materials they use, the resins they use, would make a difference too, to how robust they're going to be. But it's all good stuff when you've got it. I mean, and then it's just a point, press a button and away you go. It's just going to get better and better, and everyone's going to have a 3D printer in their home at some point.
Oh yeah, I think eventually definitely, like it will reach that point.
So
but it's going to take a while. Oh, here we go. Odin's done a little bit better. He meant, this is probably one that you'll know, Josh, because you'll be able to remember it better. So he meant Arkan the Black, so the undead character.
Arkan the Black, yeah.
And the magical item Talon of Death.
Okay, now I can't remember it because, I really like the model Arkan.
Arkan on his chariot.
I really love that model. Yeah, awesome model. I can't remember exactly what that talon does, so if you can let us know, please, Aaron. Let us know, mate. Let us know what it does. I can't remember. Oh, and 3D printing, got to say, massively. Being an orc collector, the old metal orcs with the arm with the missing arms. A lot of those arms are all 3D printed. The heavy weapons are all 3D printed. So that kind of thing is amazing because what they do, they scan the miniature, they can fix up all the little problems and detail blemishes or whatever, and then print them out. So there is a real good use of printing for that kind of stuff. Look at what Dr. Spork does with his 40k terrain. It's all designed and printed out, and it looks fantastic. So, they've got some really great uses, and there's a lot of stuff to celebrate about 3D printing. But it's not going to replace my miniature collection anytime soon. That's for sure.
No, I don't think. I mean, no, I don't. No, not the nostalgia, not the old Hammer stuff. Like, there's just something about them. Like, it's just.
Odin says the Talon does 1 wound to all living creatures in base contact at the end of the round. So that's huge because given that I'm thinking that it's the base of the chariot that it hits, so that could be like, what's that?
That's a big.
That could, well, including corner to corner, that could be like 5 or 6 guys that you take out every round. So that is pretty amazing. So wow, okay, sounds good. I do love that model. I love it now, even more now. It's going to really piss people off when I play that.
That is one of the models that's right up there with, like, there's actually quite a few of the models that I've always wanted but never had is actually in the old undead range, like Nagash, the Arkan the Black, the one that was on the zombie dragon, then you had the one that was on the manticore as well.
Yep. Actually, given that Olden Demon is coming up very quickly, and Dietz asked me what I'm going to do for Olden Demon yesterday, and I was like, holy shit, I hadn't even thought about what I was going to do. And even Tom asked me before what I was going to do for it. I think I'm going to have to finish off that Nagash for Gary. It's a Nagash for Gary. Hashtag Nagash for Gary, I think.
Oh, that model is such a nice model.
You like it, don't you? You love that, don't you, Danny, that Nagash?
Yeah, I absolutely love that model. I always have done. It's one of the models that one day I will get. They're not actually that expensive on eBay either, really. I think they're just one day I'm just going to buy the bullet and just find it and just get a hold of it.
Yeah. Yeah, ask it for your birthday this year, mate, or Christmas.
Yeah. Treat myself. That's not a bad idea, actually.
Yeah, why not? Well, you're doing so many commissions, mate. I'm sure you can. You're working pretty hard. So.
You'd think so, but I've just had dental work done.
Oh, bugger. Okay.
Yeah, that ain't cheap.
No, it's like the mafia, those people. Dentists.
Yeah. Managed to get some eBay lots of trash 3D printed spares that honestly look fine to me. I've got a lot of orc parts. Oh yeah, nice. Yeah. To be fair, I'm not saying that 3D printing is, bad. Don't do it. No. I'm not saying that. I'm really not. I'm just saying that, especially from a beginner's point of view, no. And if you know what you're doing, or have even a slight bit of idea about what you're doing, then yeah, it certainly has its place. 100% it has its place. And the day will come, I believe, when it does actually not replace, because I think there's always going to be some people out there that don't either have the space or just generally the desire to print their own models. It's not something that everybody out there is interested in. There are some people that would just rather just get the model. Thank you very much.
Yep. Okay, so it looks like Cody's going to pop in a minute, so that's cool. The three amigos will be complete. No word from Jonny though, so Jonny MIA today. And I'm playing his bloody music in the background. He should be here.
Oh, was it playing music in the background? I didn't know that. Can't hear anything.
Well, there you go. That made a massive impression on everybody then, didn't it? I can hear it. Just got headphones on.
All right. Yeah, no, I can't hear her.
I'm going to turn the heater on now. Warm up the old tootsies with the snow at the back. In the background, it's lovely.
You have quite varied weather over there, then.
Yeah, it's just been we just had a bit of a cold spike, mate. We had last weekend it was 18 degrees on Saturday, 17 degrees Sunday, 1 degree Monday with snow.
Oh, good grief! Yeah, that's a bit of a mix, isn't it? Yeah.
Man, that was a big fluctuation. That one. There he is.
Hey,
Cody.
How's it going?
Man, been too long, mate.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while.
in the new get up, mate. The new studio.
Yeah, the new place. Just as cluttered as the old place.
Okay, yeah, mate. Looks like it's pretty filled up. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
The guitars and books and everything. Yeah, good on you, mate. It's good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
Yeah. So, we're working on some old hammer orcs, mate.
Yeah. Been working on some orcs. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been almost almost a year since I've painted anything. So yeah, it's been good to get back into painting stuff for sure because it's been a while. But yeah, I just finished up a bunch of these guys, which probably not going to pick up on camera very well, but these classic armored orcs. I just finished that unit, and now I'm painting up some of the old plastic night goblins.
Cool.
Yeah, and I got about half of that unit done, so that's cool.
Yep. Nice. And I don't think you've met Danny before, so Danny, this is Cody. So,
hey, good to meet you, man.
Good to meet you too, mate.
Cody's a big Eldar player for 40k.
All right, nice.
Yeah, I've always been an Eldar guy. I play mainly Eldar. I have a Chaos Army too that I still need to finish at some point.
Well, The Splatter Natters, mate, are a good excuse.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's always good to hang out and paint. It's a good distraction to get through it.
Yeah, mate. And how's the weather over there, mate, in Tennessee?
It's been fluctuating back and forth, which is pretty typical for this time of the year. So we've had some days where it's still like 30 degrees Fahrenheit, and then it'll fluctuate between that and like 60 or 70. It just keeps going back and forth. It always does that right before spring finally breaks out here. But today it's really nice. It's probably about 65 Fahrenheit right now, something like that. Okay. Nice and sunny.
And it is what, late afternoon there at the moment?
It is. It's 4:40 in the afternoon.
Oh, cool, mate. Beer time. And I take it you guys are going to play in 6th edition. Is that right, Cody? You guys there now?
Yeah. So, Josh hooked me up with a guy on the Discord who I guess just moved here recently and was looking to get back into playing some old school Warhammer. So, of course, he connected him with me because I'm pretty much the only guy in the Nashville area that plays old hammer stuff. So yeah, we connected and we hit it off. We've been hitting it off really well. His name's Douglas. He seems like a really, really nice guy, which most people in in the old hammer community are really good people regardless. And so we've decided to organize a old hammer club here in Nashville, and I kind of recruited some of the old guys that I played with in the past to join in with us. Couple new guys that they've played Warhammer, but they haven't played old hammer stuff. And then my brother's going to play with us as well. And it's going to be really cool. So everybody's kind of starting off fresh too, which is good because, we've all sold off our armies years ago, pretty much. And everybody's kind of starting fresh. And we're going to start a little escalation league / campaign using the 6th edition fantasy rules. And we're going to start with skirmish, and then work our way up to the war bands, and then work our way up to full armies over a period about 10 weeks or so. So it should be really good. It should be a lot of fun. We got 6 players right now, including myself. So it's pretty good. And then the hope is, because I know Douglas is really keen about playing some fantasy 5th edition and 3rd edition. He wants to explore some of that again, which of course I'm totally up for. But the hope is that we can kind of convince some of the other guys to play some of the older editions as well. And really, I'd like to convert everybody to Warhammer Renaissance, because I think it's, for me, it's the penultimate edition for fantasy.
Yep, that's it. No true word spoken there, Cody. So, yeah, I think the latest PDF for the rules are out now for the 2025 edition. So on the Facebook.
Yeah, I took a look at them the other day just to refresh myself. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, I really like Warhammer Renaissance.
Yep. Yeah, it served us very well, mate, here in Japan for the last few years. So, yep.
But my hope is that we can all kind of explore some of the, I can kind of talk to guys. We can explore some of the other GW games. So obviously we're gonna jump into some 40K at some point. I'm the only one that has 40K armies right now, but I know Douglas is keen to do it, and I'm sure the other guys would be on board as well. And I would also like to explore some games that I've never got to explore, like Epic, which I do have stuff for, but never, I hadn't played Epic in a very long time, 25 years or whatever. But it will be cool to have regular people to play some Old Hammer with. That's for sure.
Yeah, mate, great. Good to hear it.
I'll be back in a few. I'm going to go and freshen my cup of tea because it's gone cold and empty.
Yep.
Yeah, sure, mate. And how's the RPG game going, mate? The one you're making?
Oh, yeah. So I've been working on it's kind of a, I would call it like a zine role-playing game, you know, so it's a mini role-playing game. It's not like a full, like 200-page tome or anything with full color.
Right.
The whole idea was to make a role-playing game in a small zine kind of format, and me and my artist friend started working on that about 6 months ago. I pretty much have the manuscript finished. I need to just go through it and iron it out because right now it's just kind of like beta test rules, and there's a lot of typos, and it's not well organized and everything. It's there, like it's 90% complete. I just need to find the time to finish it, and then I'll send it off to Andy, and he'll do all the art and layout and everything, and it'll be ready to go. But yeah, I just need to find the time to finish it. We did do some play tests, and seemed to work out fine. Seemed to work out great. So
Yep.
yeah, I think the core system and everything works well. And there's not going to be any kind of Kickstarter or crowdfunding or anything. We're just going to throw it up on Drive-Thru-RPG for print on demand, and maybe Lulu or something. Yeah, and then it's a small enough format. It's like going to be like a 20-page book maybe at most, and people can just print it off at home and play it like that, no problem.
Oh, nice, mate. Good one.
Just need to find the time to actually finish it.
Yeah. Yeah. And how was that wargame convention you went to last year? I think?
Oh, NashCon. Yeah, I go to NashCon every year. It's our local war games convention here in Nashville. It is mainly, I've been going to NashCon for 15 years now, I think, and it's over 30 years old. It is mainly a historical convention, but the past few years they've been expanding out into other stuff. So it's really now just kind of generally a miniatures war games convention, kind of half and half historical, half otherwise. It's a really great convention. I love this. It's a smaller convention. We bring in around probably 500 or 600 people. I think this year actually we brought in a little bit more, but it's around that number typically. It's a 3-day convention during the summer. Yeah, it's a great convention, and this past year was no different. What's funny is this year I didn't even really play any games. I just kind of hung out and because there's a lot of friends that I don't get to see but once a year when they come to NashCon. So it was more just an excuse to hang out and drink beer and catch up with everybody. We did play some games on the side, like they have tables everywhere. So we just played some board games and stuff. I did play one participation game, and there's tons and tons of participation games because that's kind of what it's all about.
Yeah.
And they have tournaments and stuff too. They have a huge, if you're into that sort of thing, which I'm not, but they have a really big Kings of War tournament and a really big Bolt Action tournament and Age of Sigmar and all kinds of stuff. If you're into the tournament scene, they have tons and tons of tournaments and stuff. But yeah, it's good. It's good. I really enjoy the smaller conventions a whole lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, they sound more appealing to me too, actually. Yeah, it's a shame you couldn't make it out. Yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's a shame you couldn't make it out to that, was it one of the Renaissance tournament or Games Day they had out in Kansas or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was actually out in Missouri, which is not very far from me. It's only like a 5 or 6 hour drive, maybe. I was very keen to go. I had just moved at that time.
Yeah.
And things were already kind of hectic to begin with. So it wasn't real great timing, but if they do it next year, I'll definitely would like to go out.
Yeah. Awesome.
Let's see that.
That's good, man. Now you actually got a crew of people together, the club.
Yeah.
You get the club t-shirts and everything.
Yeah, well, I do have my artist friend right now. He's making us a logo and a banner and such. So awesome. We can represent wherever we go, whether we're playing at stores or we're playing at tournaments or conventions or whatever. People can see that we're an actual like organized club, which is cool. That's kind of the idea that I would like to do. I do have a private space that we can play at, which is great. And but we're going to alternate between that space and game stores because we would like to get eyes on what we're doing, so people can see that. Which I've never had good luck playing in game stores and recruiting people, but you never know. Every once in a while, once in a blue moon, you get that one person that's interested. So for me, it's worth it just for that.
Yeah, for sure, man. Great, good to see it's happening. It's excellent.
Yeah, and I appreciate you pointing Douglas to my way because, I have one guy here that I play with usually, but he's gotten really, really wrapped up in life and really busy, and we haven't been able to play. So, I haven't even, like I said, I haven't had any motivation to even paint anything because there's nobody to play with.
Yep, that's true. That's a big factor.
So that's great to, get something going again. I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, good, mate. Okay, let's switch glasses. Let's check out the chat. Let's see what's happening. Let's see who's here. JP Gorotro Kits. Okay, so maybe JP's in Tennessee too?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Is it lots of friendly play events too? I work with a company that runs participation games with their products, not a tournament, more of a demo on steroids. I'll be at Depticon too. I'm not a fan of tournaments. I've just preferred getting together and rolling dice and only concern myself with the most rudimentary rules. Ohio. Okay.
Ohio. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So Lee brings up the point. I never understood why games would stop playing games in their stores. I had the same experience. I was talking to Dietz yesterday. He was in Tokyo. He wanted to go to the Warhammer Cafe. And I said, and it was closed. And I said, I was there last year and I walked in. It was a really strange experience because they had all the games. They had like 4 demo tables, 2 staff. And I was walking around looking at them, looking at the Warcry table in particular, and not one of them ever approached us to say, hey, would you want a demo, or do you know anything about these products? Do you know anything about the Games Workshop or Warhammer, hobby? And nothing, not one thing. Really? The guy who was like kind of like either like a foreign guy or half Japanese, half foreign. He was just more interested on what was on his phone, and he was just like looking at his messages. And the Japanese guy, I approached him and said, hello, how you going? Can I film in here? He said, yeah, that's fine. But they didn't approach me at all about anything, which is incredible. It's such a huge turnaround. That's like a 180 on what it was like back in the 90s. It was like, as a staff member, you were just like a hound dog on customers coming in. You know, it was all about the customers. They were highest priority. Everything else was just like the lowest priority. So,
I mean, it's kind of. I mean, it feels the same way. The Games Workshop near me, actually, the guy that runs that, he just doesn't seem interested in the slightest in playing games.
Yeah, it's really weird, isn't it? It's really weird because obviously they need to sell you on the game in order to buy the miniatures, and the miniatures is the money. But maybe with the Amazon deal and the shares going up, maybe that's not the case anymore. Maybe the miniatures in the stores are just like what JP says. It's like an albatross around GW's neck. Maybe they're going to just ditch it altogether and just sell the IP through media, and that makes much more sense. That's where the money is. It's not in miniatures anymore, in games. That's all now computer games. It's all TV shows. It's animation. It's digital media. It's apps on your phone. It's like we're still painting armies after 30 odd years. I mean, who's got time for that anymore? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a reality, unfortunately. It's for the old grognards like us, man.
I don't know. I think there seems to be a lot of kids that still do get into it, and there are like people that still flocking to it. And I think as it becomes more mainstream, I reckon you'll get more people actually playing the games and collecting the miniatures. In a way, it could also be like I was thinking, if it was. You never know. It might also be a boon or almost for commission painters, because you might have a lot of people that come into it. When this, if this Amazon thing ever comes off, then you'll have, you'll have that initial influx of people flooding to it because it's Henry Cavill, it's new, it's what's this? Oh wow, and then it will die off after a while. But you never know. You might have a few people that come into it who enjoy the models, enjoy the playing the game, but aren't so much keen on, the actual painting of the models. And if they want to play with the painted, with actual painted models and stuff, then they're going to be going to commission painters to get them to paint their armies for them.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good for us.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. That might not happen at all like that, but you never know. It might do.
Yeah, let's hope, mate. Let's hope.
No, because there are quite a few people out there that I've known a couple, which are like mostly tournament players, say, and they play for the rules. Like the models themselves, like they're more than happy for them to be unpainted plastic, because the models basically just represent what the rules are doing. They're playing it for the rule system, not so much for the models. The only reason they have painted armies is because tournaments have the rule where it's got to be painted.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying there's anything wrong with that, because I mean, from my point of view, for years I stopped actually playing the game. Like I hadn't played a Games Workshop game other than Blood Bowl and Space Hulk were the only ones that I kept up with. Other than that, for years, like probably a good 20 odd years, I didn't actually play a game. But I still collected the miniatures. I would just literally, whichever model I spotted went, oh, I really like that, I'd pick it up and I'd paint it.
Yeah.
So I was more of a collector than a gamer. So, there are plenty of people out there that are more gamers than actual painters.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I really haven't seen a dip in popularity of miniature gaming, though. If anything, I think it's more popular now than ever has been. At least, in my area. I can't speak for the broader, but even looking at YouTube and such, it seems like there's more more YouTube channels with battle reports or people painting.
Yeah, true.
And when I go to conventions, like the tournaments they're out, and we're talking, 80, 100 people at these specific tournaments. And so, and a lot of them are younger guys, usually within their, usually in their 20s and stuff, that they're getting into this stuff. That's one thing I do notice is there's not as many really young people getting into it. Like I got into it when I was about 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, there were a lot, it seems like my age group, and probably the same with you guys, your age group, there were a lot of people that were getting into it around that age. And I don't see that as much. I think that's a bit of a difference.
Yeah. I'd say, because I've got kids myself, so my kids are about that age. Like I've got a 13-year-old. He quite likes playing the games, but he doesn't like painting the models.
Right.
And I've got a 6-year-old. The only thing he's interested in is playing with Lego and watching his tablet. So I think a lot of it is like a lot of kids these days, they're more into the electronic side of it rather than like an actual physical thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, actually, to be fair. My youngest, there's a bit of hope for him because there's nothing he really enjoys watching battle reports and watching dice being rolled. So he might play it. And like I said, my 13-year-old, he does actually enjoy playing the game. Like he enjoys playing 40K. He doesn't enjoy the painting of the models.
Right. Well, there's some hope there yet still. Maybe when he gets older, he'll have an appreciation more for the painting, Yeah,
he'll have a bit more patience for it,
Yeah. I think that's the main thing, right? You need the patience, and as a kid, you don't have that patience for anything.
Yeah.
Right, for the most part. So,
I
know when I was a kid, I did like painting, but I didn't know how to do it really. They were a mess.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the patience to really learn how to paint. But the main thing I wanted to do was just play the freaking games, right? So
yeah. I think I enjoyed the painting, but I found Games Workshop when I was about 12, 13, but I've been doing airfix since I was 6 or 7 years old.
Oh wow!
Like working with all those plastic kits, and by the time it got to it, I was quite good at building models. Like the painting, miniature painting, I had no idea about.
Yeah.
But building model wise, I was fairly good background in it by that point. Oh, here we go. We got JP. Hang on, I'm trying to read your name, mate. Got Rockets. There we go. JP Got Rockets says, why install a store in cities with 4 or 5 local, like indie stores or local game stores, I'm guessing, that have been selling your products for years? Money for the rent and personnel is best spent elsewhere. Let someone else do the heavy lifting. See, that is one thing I've always found confusing. Like Games Workshop, it's been nice. It is nice that they had their own store. Well, at least it was, because you could go there, play the game, stuff like that. You can't do that now. And when you've got, like around me, I've got there's two good local game stores, and there's a couple of small ones where you can get the products from. So why does Games Workshop not just make sure that those ones can get all the stock they could possibly want, and make sure that their online stuff works really well, and then you wouldn't really need to have your own stores?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and especially with their marketing now, I think that's would be a really smart move on their part to make sure that the friendly local game stores are well supported. But it doesn't seem like they do that at all.
No,
they could give a shit less. It's really weird.
Yeah, and it baffles me as well though, because why have like where I live, we've got 2 Games Workshop stores which sell them at Games Workshop prices, and then like I said, you've got local game stores within easy distance of them that are 20% cheaper for the exact same product. It's like, that doesn't make sense to me. And if you're going to do it, why not make sure, like you say, make sure that your local game store or that lot, your indie store and that lot, are actually well stocked with everything.
Yeah, because, also the local game stores where they're probably going to play their games too.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where they're going to learn about everything about the hobby, because that's where if they're just getting into it nowadays, you're going to go to your local game store more than likely and get all the stuff. And somebody there is going to point you to somebody that can tell you how to paint and what to
Yeah.
do and where, what nights they play, and they're going to have tables there more than likely and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So it only makes sense to me, like you said, that they would try to support the stores as much as possible. And what's weird is a lot of the other game companies do that now, right?
Yeah.
Like Warlord Games is really good with this. Like, because I was one of their demo reps. I was one of their demo guys a few years ago, and they used to send me all kinds of product, to give away for tournaments. And they sent stuff, they were like, who's your local store? They sent stuff to the store for free. So we could paint it up and demo it and everything. And they were just excellent about doing all that stuff. And it really baffles me why Games Workshop doesn't do any of this. I guess, I guess they feel like they're big enough that they don't have to. It's like it just sells itself. Everybody's going to know what Warhammer is, and that they can just sit back and, sell their stuff online or whatever. And it doesn't really matter. I don't really know. I don't understand I don't understand their philosophy at all. I don't know what's going on. I mean,
No.
I don't get it.
No, it's always been a bit of a shame. Like Games Workshop seems to have missed a lot of things that they could have done. I mean, to be fair though, we're saying that they're still one of the biggest companies in the UK.
Yeah, for sure. They're still the biggest miniatures company, no doubt.
Oh yeah. I think in general, actually, in the UK, Games Workshop is one of the biggest UK-based companies, just in general.
It wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, they're absolutely massive. I was quite surprised when I found that out. So they've obviously done
one of the last. Is it one of the last UK companies?
Probably, actually, yeah.
Yeah, there ain't many left.
No. Yeah, the only other one is a corner shop owned by Steve. No, so they've obviously have done something right, but I don't know.
To be honest, I really couldn't care what they do nowadays. But
No.
You know what I mean? But there's a lot better games and companies out there now. So, for me personally, I don't really care what's going on with them. They've kind of lost me a long time ago, as a customer.
Same.
So. But
yeah, I'm not they don't make stuff for me anymore.
Exactly.
It's not like I don't like. It's not like I don't like the models. To be fair, a lot of the stuff that Games Workshop make model wise, no, they are really nice. Some of them are a bit boring and generic, I think, and a little bit sterile, maybe.
Sure.
But otherwise, they've got but they haven't really released anything that's made me go, ooh, I think the last one they did that with was Nagash, when they redesigned him.
Yeah.
That Nagash model is really nice.
You're breaking my heart here, Danny. Breaking my heart. It's an abomination, mate. It's an abomination.
Oh, I don't know, man. It's very, very different, but I really like it.
That's fine. You like what you like, man. You do. You do what you do. You like what you like. No, but
the only other model the only other model I would say Games Workshop have done, which really made me go, "Wow, that's brilliant! I like that," was Mephiston when they redid him in Primaris. Yeah, but like I said, the only reason I really like that model is because it's exact copy of the Mark Gibson original artwork for him. So,
yeah, that makes sense. I thought those ones where they base the old artwork on, I really like those a lot.
Yeah,
I think they're absolutely cracking. Oh, it's Dave Gilson's birthday today. Happy birthday, Dave, if you were going to watch this, mate. So Dave is one of the main contributor to our deep dives on the podcast.
Oh, cool.
All the Army books. Yeah, so it's his birthday today.
Well, happy birthday, man.
I'll have to, I'll have to go and start downloading all the Chaos deep dive they did for the last one and start editing that one soon. So that's the next big one I'm going to cover. And then it's Dark Elves next week, I think. Dark Elves.
Excellent.
Dirty Dark Elves.
I do like some dirty dark elves.
Yeah, they're dirty, all right, mate. In every way. And they know it.
That's another army I regret selling is all my metal dark elves.
Were these like the original Marauder Dark Elves, or these like 4th edition Dark Elves?
Yeah, they were mainly like 4th and 5th edition era dark elves. I didn't actually sell them. I gave them away to a friend because he wanted to start dark elves, and I just gave them to him. I was like, "Here you go, man. Like, you know, get you going." And but I was a little upset that he sold them all, you know, and then turned around and because he didn't really like the models, and he turned around and bought newer dark elf models. I was like, dude, if you didn't want them, you could have gave them back because, you know, I gave them to you because I thought you could use them.
Sounds like you got to sell them back to you, basically, to buy the new ones.
Yeah, which, I mean, I wasn't that upset about it. You know, at least he got some use out of it, but at the same time, I was, you know.
Yeah. That's funny.
It kind of pissed
You're
me
a
off.
better man than me, mate. I would have probably been rather upset at that.
Yeah. I've had a few people do that to me in the past. You know, you're generous with some stuff, and then they turn around and flip it or something. Kind of irks me.
Yeah. Which is why now I will never sell any of the old Hammer stuff that I have. I will hold on to it, and I will be buried with it.
Yeah, that's how I feel nowadays.
Viking Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a Viking king, huh? Yeah, someone asked me that on the YouTube comments one day. He goes, "Oh, what?" He asked me about. He goes, "Oh, yeah, nice looking collection. When are you going to sell it?"
Yeah, it's like never.
Like over my dead body, mate. I said to Deets yesterday. I said because he's looking at my stuff in my cabinet and everything. I said, "Yeah, that's basically my my son's college tuition, mate. What you're looking at. That's what it is. It's an investment, if anything."
At this point, yeah, geez.
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
Prices on a lot of this stuff is getting friggin' outrageous.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've looked at stuff, and I was looking for some stuff for this orc army, and I was just shocked at what stuff is going for now. It's crazy. I'm glad I bought a bunch of this stuff, you know, quite a few years ago when it was still reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah, like if you had like the bulk of the army and you're just picking up a few extra bits and pieces, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
But if you're starting like dead from scratch, like it is just a that's where the 3D printer, what we talked about before, the issue we talked about before, or the topic I should say, where that comes into being a much more viable option for people if they're thinking about doing like a mass battle army.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You know,
Printing,
you guys were, I was listening to you guys talk about that earlier. I don't have a 3D printer, but I have several friends that have one, and I've started to dip my toe into buying some 3D models off of Etsy, actually, which I think, you know, because for me, I don't really want a 3D printer because I just don't have time to fiddle with it and all that stuff. You know, like you guys were talking about earlier, it's a big investment of time to do it and to learn everything about it. And I just don't have the time or space for all that. But I'm more than happy to pay somebody else to do it for me for a reasonable price, you know? So I think Etsy is a good choice, and I'm sure there's some other places. Of course, the other thing I'd recommend is somebody just getting into, you know, the old Hammer hobby is there's a lot more alternative miniatures companies going around now making some beautiful stuff, you know, so there's plenty of options if you want the old school, you know, look and feel of your miniatures.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. That's what I say it to a couple of mates that want to give it a go, and they always say like the old models are so expensive. So what I've said to them, the only reason I love the old models is because it's pure nostalgia for me. Yeah. You know, when like objectively, if you were to look at say some of the new Chaos stuff, for example, like the new Chaos sculpts, objectively, they're better in a way than the older stuff. Like the edges are crisper. They're, you know, when you glue the arms on, because they're all plastic, they actually stay together instead of pinging across. You know, like the details clearer and crisper, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they just don't hit that feel. They don't give me the feels at all when I look at them compared to like the older stuff.
Right. Yeah. I feel the same way. But the other counter argument I would have to that, for me personally, is the modern. There's a lot of modern miniatures that are absolutely beautiful, like you said. I mean, they're just beautiful. You know, very detailed and all that. But I almost think they're too good. I had this talk with my friend the other day. It's like, I don't enjoy painting those models. They're not fun to paint for me personally. They're just
I agree.
Too much details and too many fiddly things going on. And the old models were a lot simpler, and they have a lot of, you know, and they a lot less details, and they still look really cool. And, you know, so coupled with that, I think they're much more enjoyable to paint. But you know, I also get the nostalgic feels from it. You know, this is the stuff I always wanted as a kid that I never could get, and now I had it. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I just don't enjoy painting a lot of modern stuff. There is some, you know, there is some modern sculpts and stuff out there that they're very enjoyable to paint. They're good balance between, you know, a modern look and detail and everything, but also very fun to paint, and they look good and everything. So there are model sculptors out there that I think you have a keen eye for that balance of design. You know, but it seems like a lot of the younger guys that are sculpting now on computers don't have that eye for design that the older guys had. You know, they knew they were designing this purposely for, you know, it's a gaming model. It's you know, it's a piece of art, but it's also somebody's got to paint this, and you know, somebody's got to put this on the table, and it's got to be functional. And I don't think a lot of the modern sculptors really have that in their mind when they're sculpting some of this stuff.
No,
I could be wrong, but it seems like that to me.
Sci-Fi's got an interesting comment. Romans used to have lead coffins where they just melted down mini collections. Find on archaeologist science if needed. Yeah, I'm enjoying painting these Testabona models. I mean, they're new sculpts, they're 3D design, but in metal. And I think Andy does a great job. I think Andy Hobday is doing a lot. Not Andy. I'm sorry. Graham Davies is doing a lot of the sculpting for these, and I think he does it. He has a lot of characters to them. I really like them. They're simple and they're nice and easy to paint. Not too complex, but yeah, a lot of the new stuff they're just overly complicated.
Yeah, absolutely.
The new Nagash, I think, was probably one of them.
I will grant you. See, Emperor Jim's got a good point here. He says, having painted a load of the Epic Chaos recently, he doesn't entirely agree that older models have less detail.
Yeah, true.
Generally agree.
Now, how many skulls?
Yeah, see, I would agree, but I was just literally thinking about it, actually, as we were talking about it now. Like, for example, like when you're talking about, like, if you say like pouches and things like that, like these old Chaos models that I've got here, like he's got grenades around him. He's got a pouch that looks suspiciously like a ball bag. He's got another pouch. He's got ammo belt going around there, stuff like that. So the older models still did have quite a bit of detail on them.
Yeah.
Whereas if you look at, say, like the new, like let's use Primaris as an example, like the pouches are optional, so you can add them, you can not. But you look at the detail that's on the armor, like the little panel lines that are in there and the little access hatches, and then you'll turn it around and he's got something that's supposed to be like there's an overabundance of that. Whereas opposed to, like you say, for the Epic models, things like that, there's loads of little skulls on them and little bits like that. So like they're part of it, like they are detailed, but they're part of the model rather than extra unnecessary detail that you don't really need and you're never going to see until you're actually holding the model 2 feet away from you.
Right, exactly.
I mean, again, not the best example to say with Epic, because Epic's very small and, you know, you got to hold it about 2 foot away from you so you can actually see the models most of the time. But that is like quite often. That's what I find, like, because where I do commission painting, I'll be painting a lot of the newer models, and I'll often say, like, my mate and I would have discussions about it. Would be like saying how much there's more detail on them and everything. And it's like those like those little panel lines and all the extra little bits and bobs that they keep seeming to hide around all the models now. It's just like, why? Like, seriously, I mean, yeah, it looks nice. Like, if you were to paint, say, like, just like a warband size force, you know, like 10 or 12 models at most, awesome, because there's loads of little details that you can do and go nuts on them. When you're painting an army, especially like by today's points costs, you know, you'll have like 50, 60 models plus.
Yeah.
You know, and that's for a small army. You know, that's a lot of detail to fill in.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my 2 pence on it.
Yeah. Good on you, mate. And 2 belches too. You fit in there. Nice one. Thank you.
Yeah, I tried to hide them. Sorry.
That's okay. I could pick up because I'm wearing my earphones. It's funny when they come up. So looks like your lovely ladies here, mate. So now Healy is here. How you going? How you going there, Healy? And Matt said, Planet Turbo, I feel the need for a 3rd edition Nippon army. Yeah, mate, go for it.
That'd be cool.
I don't know. I should tell us to this about, but before I got back into the Games Workshop stuff, and I was coming out of Infinity, we did play Kensei, which is like a Spanish company that produces really nice metal samurai miniatures, and we backed the Kickstarter, and I played the original rules, and it was basically like Warhammer but based in Sengoku, Japan, but with the whole mythology element added to it.
Nice.
And that was really cool. I really liked that. Yeah, we played it only once and got it to the table, but I really liked how it played out. It was like alternate activations. You had like samurai, like independent guys running around and doing stuff, and you had all the regular stuff like, basically Ashigaru samurai, and you had like mythological creatures like giants and dragons and stuff in it as well if you wanted them. But yeah, it looked like a really fun system, but we just never really got it any further than just a game, just playing it out. But what they had at the beginning was when you deployed everything, which is one of the things I really liked about it, is that you had like bits of card, and you just write the unit that you had on the card, and you put it face down on the tabletop in the deployment zone, and you do that like it's like a fog of war thing, and you'd flip the card over to reveal what unit it was, and you put the unit down in your deployment zone. That's how you deploy. So I really like that element to it. And your shogun or your samurai general would sit in the back lines with his entourage and his tent and everything in the back lines, and he would give out like special orders to your guys during the game, which is cool as well. So I really like that aspect to it as well. So yeah, it was good. I still got them on my hard drive actually. I think I still got my Google Drive the original Kensei rules. And then they changed the rules. They brought out another edition, and it just wasn't the same. It just wasn't the same as the old one, unfortunately. And I don't even know if they're still around. But yeah, I think it was. I can't remember what the name of the company is now. It's been so long ago. But yeah, if you're looking for Nippon for Warhammer, definitely look at those guys. I'll have to find out what. Zenit, that's it, Zenit Miniatures. Go and check them out, Matt, because Zenit Miniatures make some really good stuff, and you can build a big army of, like a Nippon army, because that's essentially what they were, exactly the same. So, who's this person here? I have to get my mouse. So what does Matt say here? The new stuff is just busier in general, makes for not very strong design silhouette. Yeah, it's certainly a lot more busier, mate, that's for sure. And cool Tanami. Thanks to Josh for not making me unnecessarily wedge something beneath underneath my made-to-order Shaman and Wyvern, because it's not lead. It's not going to snap and break its ankle. He's all painted up now. Okay, excellent, mate. That's good. So what he's saying, if people don't know, and I had to sort of read it twice to work it out, the old original Wyvern, Shaman and Wyvern models, those really old 90s models, they were made of that softer lead. So when you put it together on the base, after a certain amount of years, it will start drooping down, and the ankles would break, basically. And if you looked at the like of the 5th edition battle reports and everything, you would see like the Dark Elf dragon, and it had like a big rock underneath its belly holding it up.
Oh, right.
You'd see a few of those where they re-customize the bases just to accommodate the drooping of the miniatures. They'd have like a tombstone or something underneath it, wedged underneath the belly of it to support it. But the new made-to-order stuff is all the new, high tensile metals, like they're all made out of tin, not out of the old lead. So they're super strong. And,
okay.
So it's great to see that you got it and you've already painted it. That's awesome. So well done. So Hilly didn't realize we're on. Danny, you should tell her, mate. You should inform your wife about what's going on here, mate. It's very important. Here we go. Yeah, Kensei Zenit. Yes. Yeah, I backed their Kickstarter years ago. I was doing the English translation proof reading for them when I was at work years ago. I forget the guy's name he was doing. It was just before COVID. And he was going to come over for the 2020 Olympics in Japan, and we we're going to meet up and everything. And then COVID hit, and that just screwed up all everybody's plans, and we were going to have to cancel everything then. So it's a shame. I haven't contacted that guy for years, but I hope it's still going. I hope the company is still going, because they made some really, really good quality stuff. And I still have a couple of in my Test of Honor warbands, there's still some Zenit miniatures in there, actually. Really nice miniatures. Very, very cool. Old school stuff. Oh! And they made a game called Tori, which was their skirmish game, which wasn't too bad, but I love Test of Honor way more. Test of Honor is just like a way, way, way better game. Much more fun. But we gave Tori a go. It wasn't too bad. And I'm going to have to make up a little Test of Honor display board, because last year in our community here, they got like a community center, and like they encourage people to bring their crafts or things they like doing, like arts. There's certain elderly people who love painting, and there's like a really talented painter who has passed away, but they're displaying her art there last year. And he said, one of the guys said, "Oh, you should bring your miniatures next time." I said, "Okay, I might do that." And I'll have to make up a nice little Test of Honor display board with a shrine and everything in there, and the miniatures set up so they can see what it looks like. I think that'd be a cool one to do.
Oh, yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, maybe they'll really appreciate that.
Yeah. I've always wanted to do some dioramas and stuff.
Yeah, mate.
I think it'd be really fun to do. I was just watching Mike McVeigh. What is that channel? Flimdig Miniatures?
Oh, yeah, Film Dig.
He's got all the interviews, yeah.
Yep.
And he was talking to Mike McVeigh, and there was a whole segment there about him doing the dioramas, and that was really, really cool, fascinating to listen to.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it? I enjoyed that a lot, that interview.
It was cool to see Mike McVeigh actually talk in person. I can't recall. I don't know if anybody else has actually interviewed that guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I tried to get him on the podcast, But
Yeah.
he replied and he said, "I'm really sorry, but I think there will be a conflict of interest with my company because he works for CMON. He works for that big American company there, CMON Games.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
yeah, he's basically the sort of art director behind all
Yeah.
the miniatures with them. So, but Tom seems to be being able to get all the interviews with all these people. So, I mean, good for him. I mean, he does a great job, and I can think of he does a fantastic job. He's got all the interviews. So well done to him.
Yeah.
And he lives in Nottingham, so he lives in the ideal location. Obviously, and he's giving everyone a fair deal to talk whatever they want to talk about, and so that's excellent. So good on him.
Yeah, no, it's been great to see all those people talk about all that stuff. I've really been enjoying listening to it. Yeah, Mike McVeigh seemed like he kind of became kind of a recluse there for quite a few years. I didn't hear anything about him for a long time until really, like a few years ago, he started painting stuff again and showing it off on the internet and all that stuff. But it seemed like he was very quiet and reclusive for quite a while. So it's cool to see him come back out into the public eye again. Yeah, he's definitely my favorite. He's my favorite miniatures painter of all time. Like,
yeah, me too, man.
Big hero of mine when I was a kid. Like, that's what I aspired to be, was Mike McVeigh,
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that.
I can't remember exactly what I said to Mike when I first met him, but like it would have been something like a blubbering idiot, like just not knowing what to say and being completely starstruck. Yeah,
I would be too.
I would have sounded like any other gushing kind of, what I wouldn't even say I was a teenager. I think I was like 20 then when I met him. I was like, "Oh man, Mike, you're my hero." He would have heard this like 1,000 times and like so sick of it.
Right. Yeah.
Some pain in the ass guy. He's just gushing all over him. But yeah, it's like, oh yeah, it's like I would have said something like that. "Mike, you're my hero. I love all your work." Blah blah blah. So, but he would have heard it 1,000 times and was just sick of it.
Where did you meet him at?
When I worked at the studio.
Okay. You saw him at the
time.
studio. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you get to meet anybody else of note when you were there at the studio?
Yeah, my standouts for me were Wayne England, absolute legend. Nigel Stillman,
awesome.
Rick Priestley, very briefly. Ali Morrison used to come down, but I didn't really talk to those guys. I was sort of just hanging around and just talking to people. And I didn't really, I was there for such a short time. I didn't really know anybody so much.
Yeah.
But, on like on a personal, intimate level kind of thing. I wish I did, because it would have been lovely to have known more about those guys. But I think they were the big standouts for me, personally. I said hello and to like Andy Chambers and Jervis Johnson. Had to talk to him a few times about certain things, but we're kind of very each department was sort of sectioned off, so we were downstairs in our own little area, and the White Dwarf team were across from us. Like 80 was there. I didn't even say hello to. I didn't even know. I could have seen him and said hello to him and said hi at some point in my induction, but never talked to the guy. So but you could see them all. You could see them all there, but you never really spoke to each other. I don't think it was the same kind of. It wasn't the same. When I hear about the stories of the old studio, the original studio, it just wasn't the same.
Right.
That was a completely different era under Brian Ansell, and it was just run differently. And I think people may have just got to know each other or mingle more and that kind of thing. And it was very kind of like a very loose sort of setup. But I think it got more and more serious and more corporate later when I joined it. So the culture was different then.
Yeah.
From my understanding.
You were over at Castle Boulevard, I'm assuming?
Yeah, Castle Boulevard, yeah. Yeah. I think I wish I had joined and learned more about it. I would have had to been a bit older, but to join the the studio setup. I mean, I think that would have been the most exciting time to be there.
Oh, absolutely,
When,
yeah.
You know, things like HeroQuest was being developed, 3rd edition fantasy, Rogue Trader, end of Rogue Trader, that kind of era. Yeah, that'd have been fantastic. Yeah, sadly, never got to meet Bill King. I don't think Bill was even there when I was there. Sadly, I mean, really, yeah, because they're the people I sort of know about. You know, I know the names. I've seen in the White Dwarf magazines. I've seen their pictures and in the contents page. You know, so.
Well, it's cool nowadays that we actually get to hear interviews and stuff with these people, because
Yeah.
back in the day, the only for most people, the only communication you ever had with them was through White Dwarf.
Yeah, that's right.
But it also, I kind of missed that, because it kind of added like a degree of mystery to who they were and everything. And yeah, I don't know. As a kid reading White Dwarf and seeing all those guys, Andy Chambers and Adrian Wood and everything, I always imagined, you had like, you kind of made up in your mind what they spoke like and who they were and what they acted like. And they kind of had a character and persona and a mystery about them. But, now that, the mystery's kind of spoiled. But at the same time, it's still kind of cool. It's so cool that we get to hear.
I can relate to that, because A.D. Wood was always one of my heroes, like the sort of people I idolised from my younger days, like the White Dwarf and everything.
Yeah.
And then when I first met him on Splatter Natters with Josh, I always had him in my mind. He was the orc player. He always, I imagined him sounding like an orc, and then he was he's a really softly spoken, lovely bloke, and it's like, okay, nice one. You're not an orc.
That's
my childhood mental image of you has been completely destroyed. No.
Exactly. I mean, for better or worse, that's exactly what I said when me and Josh did my first White Dwarf, and there was we were looking at the people at White Dwarf, and Adrian Wood was in there, and like you, Adrian Wood was one of my favorite people on White Dwarf in the 90s, because I always liked the orcs, and he always played orcs. But every picture you see him in, he's like, he's got this intense, like, heavy metal face going, like he's screaming or something. So I just imagined him to be this really hyper, like, intense guy, but he's not at all. He's very laid back and soft-spoken, and complete opposite. Yeah. But he seems like a really nice guy,
Yeah, top bloke, mate. He might be playing a gig tonight now, actually. He might be out on the road playing a gig, playing the drums.
Oh, yeah, he's a drummer.
Yeah, mate, yeah. He's been drumming for a long time. Yeah. Yeah, so he'd be playing a gig somewhere.
Cool.
Golf rocking it.
All right, another 5 night goblins down.
Awesome. That's like one turn kill count, basically 5 on average.
Yeah, pretty much. I keep painting these night goblin archers, and I'm like, why am I painting all these night goblin archers? They're all going to die and not do anything.
Yeah, seems like it's just counterintuitive, what do you call it? Counterproductive. That's what I'm trying to find. Yeah, counterproductive. Yeah.
I want to get some night goblin spearmen and I'm trying to figure out I'm trying to look for alternatives. I don't know if I'm going to buy. Obviously, I can't afford the original Night Goblins. I would love some, but they're just too expensive.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for alternatives. If anybody out there knows any good alternatives for Night Goblins, let me know. I've saw some 3D prints that looked pretty decent. I might go that route.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Just trying to think for you, mate.
I think so I have some of these that are like the 6th edition era Night Goblins, and those actually still look rather old school. They still fit in pretty well. So I might just go that route.
Okay.
Because they do fit pretty good. They're pretty old school. I mean, they're basically monopose kind of models, and they still kind of have the old school look to them.
I think the other problem would be that the scale is going to be different, from the original ones.
I'm not too worried about scale because I've got a mix here of like stuff from the 80s all the way up to the 90s, so my stuff is already out of scale to begin with. So I'm not that concerned with it as long as it doesn't look way exaggerated,
Sure. Well, I was going to suggest potentially the Black Tree Design miniatures, but I know they have a lot of issues with customer service and stuff like that. But Kev did a lot of Night Goblins from them back in those days as an alternative.
Yeah, I was looking at those the other day. I know, Kev sculpted all those. For one, they're pretty expensive.
Yeah.
They're nice.
How much are they per model, mate?
It's I think it was like $10 for 3 Night Goblins.
Okay, that's not cheap. Yeah, so
that's a little pricey.
Yeah, but I suppose it's not that. Yeah, I suppose it's not a big leap from what most modern miniatures are. I mean, these are quite old. These ones. I mean, they're going back to the 90s. Those things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But they did have some stuff in there that I think I am going to buy. They had a orc catapult. It looked really good, and it was very reasonably priced. So I think I'm going to get that. I saw a giant actually that Old School Miniatures. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Yeah.
They make some good stuff, and they had a couple different giants that I thought looked really good. They had one specifically had a big like mohawk. I thought would look great for orcs. So I'm probably going to get that giant. I did
yeah, mate. Sorry.
Oh no, yeah. I was going to say I did order some 3D prints because we were talking about that. My first 3D models from Celtic Miniatures off your recommendation.
Oh yeah, cool, great.
Because you did that little review of different models, and you were talking about Celtic Miniatures. They're boar riders, and I thought they looked great. So I ordered some of those.
Actually. Yeah, good man.
And that guy's been great to deal with too. He actually contacted me because I wanted him a little smaller scale, and he's doing that for me. And he seems like a really nice guy. So
he's a very nice guy.
Yeah.
So that's good. I think about some other alternatives would be, there's Nightmare Miniatures, but then, you're looking at quite an excessive amount of money per model, and then shipping on top of that. So that's going to be kind of really expensive. If you want to go metal, but I know Cool Tanami is saying about the Night Goblins from 6th and 7th edition, the plastic ones from Skull Pass.
Yeah.
Battle for Skull Pass, I'm sorry. Now, I've seen someone on Instagram paint them in the Herohammer colors, and I've got to say, they look really nice. When they're done in the real bright retro colors, they look quite cool. So, I mean, you can make them work. I mean, at least they're scaled appropriately, and they're not huge and humongous like the current ones are.
Yeah.
That's one thing I love about the old miniatures. Now, we're going to say something. I'm going to say something very controversial now, so people don't start typing on your keyboards and call me out here. But there are recasting options for Night Goblins. So
Right.
if you want to go that route, you can do that as well.
I've thought about that as well. I might go that route.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite route to go, but nowadays, who can blame anybody for
Yeah,
doing it?
exactly. Yeah.
I don't feel that bad about it either because it's, they're out of print. It's kind of like buying a secondhand vinyl record or something. You're not giving that money to the artist, anyways. So, I don't feel that guilty about doing that kind of thing.
And let's be honest, if they're honest about them being recasts and not trying to say they're the original out of print models and trying to charge a fortune for them, I have no issue with that, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't really either. That's where it bothers me is when people try to pass stuff off as original, and I see that a lot on eBay.
Yeah.
I've actually gotten some models off eBay, and then once I get them in hand, I'm like, this is a recast. I wouldn't mind buying this if you told me it was a recast, but it's obviously a recast, and you try to pass it off as an original model.
Yeah. I had that. One of the first commissions I ever actually did was some Chaos Dwarf Blood Bowl team, and the client actually purchased the Chaos Dwarf Minotaur Star, not the Chaos Dwarf, the Chaos Minotaur Star Player for it.
Yeah.
Sent it through to me, and he's, when it showed up, it was obviously a recast because it was covered in these weird sort of bobbly boils of lead where it had obviously been poorly cast.
Right.
And I said to the guy about it straight away. I said, this is obviously a recast, blah, blah, blah. Are you all right with this? And he was like, really? I was told this was a proper model, and you apparently paid quite a lot of money for it. And like, do you want me to send it back to you so you can sort this out with the guy or what? Like you say, that one, that was quite unimpressive for the guy. But like you say, if it's somebody that's honest about the fact that it is recast, and they might saying it might be a bit dodgy, but they're cheap anyway, it's like, okay, you take the chance, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't really have an issue with that as long as people are straightforward and honest with it. I don't. And it's kind of like that with anything. Like I collect all kinds of stuff, and I buy reproduction stuff all the time, whether it's a video game or record or something. I'm fine with that as long as people are straightforward and honest with it. It's fine to me, and people don't try to flip it. And that's my main issue with it. Is there's a lot of scammers out there.
Yeah.
It's really bad. Yeah, I don't like that at all. So yeah, I might go that route actually. Now that you talking about it.
Now, the other one I was going to suggest is Red Bard Games.
Okay, I'm not familiar with them.
Okay, they are based in Spain, I believe.
Okay,
and they're resin models, and they're sort of designed in the same old hammer, Herohammer aesthetics.
Okay,
and I don't know if they have goblins, but I know they have orcs. And they're just about to release an classic undead on Kickstarter range on Kickstarter as well, which look fantastic actually, by the way. But it's all based on the old models. They're all based on the old 4th and 5th edition models. So check those out. Maybe you'd find something nice in there, mate.
Yeah, these look fantastic. I would definitely be keen to buy some of these. Or something. I especially like this Orc Warlord on Wyvern. That's really good looking.
Yeah, that's cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I might have to get this guy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so they've made some really nice models too as alternatives. Now, Brauniac, he does some hobgoblins.
I've seen them
in his range. Yeah, they're very nice. They're really, really nice. So
yeah, they're really good. Yeah,
as printables. And he does orcs as well, which yes, I think some of them are okay. Some of them are not my cup of tea, but in the designs. But there's a wealth of stuff, as you know. There's a wealth of stuff out there.
I actually think after this orc project, I'm going to do Chaos Dwarves again, and I'm going to go the whole 3D print route.
Cool.
Because the 3D prints for Chaos Dwarves now are just stunningly good. They've got some great old school prints. So after I get this project done, I think I'm going to do Chaos Dwarves again.
Cool, mate. Excellent.
Yeah.
I had to pull out a box yesterday for Dietz to give him his present before he left. And that's a full box of the Faberzel prints.
They're really good.
I'll have to do it one. I might paint it up as to play for a bit and then sell it on.
Yeah.
See how we go. But I'm looking forward to cracking on with that project at some point and getting to that because they're really nice models too.
But I got plenty on my table right now. I got to get done. So
yeah, that's right.
I don't want to get too ahead of myself.
Exactly. Yeah, the thought was nice.
Yeah. I definitely want to do that sometime in the future.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I really regret selling off all my Chaos Dwarves.
Yeah, man. That's at least you didn't give it away and some bastard sold on you.
Well, they did.
So
I sold them to a guy. It was another story of me. I did sell them to him, but I sold them to him for like dirt cheap, right? Because I wasn't using them, and he wanted to play Chaos Dwarves. And I was like, hey, man, I've got this fully old school painted metal Chaos Dwarf army. I'm not using it. I'll sell it to you for real cheap so you can have some Chaos Dwarves. And he's like, cool. So I sold it to the whole thing for like $300, and and it was all. I mean, it was probably 3,000 points of Chaos Dwarves.
Wow.
With all metal with some plastic orcs and stuff in there. And so he gets them, and then like a month later, I find out he flipped them. For probably 3 or 4 times the cost, and that really peeved me off. Yeah,
that's a real stab in the balls. That one.
Yeah. That really.
He should be incarcerated by real Chaos Dwarves and sent to the mines to work in repayment for that one, I think.
Yeah, I mean that's what happens. I try to be a nice guy, be generous to people, and it's just happened to me multiple times. It seems.
I've got to be honest. Chaos Dwarves is probably one of the armies again that I would really struggle to not use the old school models, because that was like the very first model I ever got was the plastic Chaos Dwarf.
Yeah.
And the old the Chaos Dwarf blunderbuss, the Lamassu, things like that. The Hobgoblin Wolf Riders and Sneaky Gits and stuff like that. Like I
awesome.
love those models so much. Yeah. Like I would probably be willing to sell an organ just to make, or several organs, in fact, if they were still in good enough condition, just to get a full, authentic, original Old Hammer army, like a big one with all the blunderbuss, the Chaos Warriors. You got your characters. Like, I would love to get my hands on the originals of those again. Yeah, man, I had all that stuff. I had every single piece, like pretty much at least one of every model in that range. I had every. I had the cannon, and I had all the characters on the Lamassu and the mage on the bull and all that stuff. I had all that stuff. And it really peeves me off that I got rid of it. That's like my biggest regret in life. I like that chaos. I do still have some remnants of it that I have hanging around. Like I got this one hobgoblin here that I'm using for my orc army now. I'm going to use him as a standard bearer. I still got a few pieces hanging around, but man, I really regret getting rid of all that stuff. I don't know what I was thinking at the time. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm going to step away for 1 second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go for it. I should make a cup of tea in a minute.
I was going to say, to be honest, it's pushing midnight for me, so I'm going to have to...
Oh, is it? Yeah, we should call it a day soon then, mate, I think, eh? Or call it a night, in your case.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to sort out when to do that. My first White Dwarf as well, mate. Like I said, just
mate,
whatever time. What time's usually best for you as well? If you wanted to do it, you'd want to probably do it sometime around your daytime. It should be quite late for me. Would be a good one, wouldn't it?
So yeah, like if we can do it. We can do it in my afternoon, which is your early morning. If that suits you.
Yeah.
Is that good for you?
Yeah, that could be good for me one day, yeah.
Okay, mate. Yeah, that's fine.
Pretty much any, what was it? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday would be good for me on that one.
Okay, great. Okay, awesome. Yep. I think I should be pretty. I should be available for those days. It depends if I'm working. That's the only thing. So, not this week coming up, but the following week will be better, mate. That's what I'm.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that would be cool
we'll
for
do
me.
that, mate. Cool. Let's do that. Issue 165, if I'm going to get that right.
I believe so. Yeah, I've got it. Hang on, I'll double check quickly. I've got it put aside up here.
I think it's 165.
205.
Is it 205? Oh shit! I'm way off.
Yeah. Definitely issue 205.
Okay.
Because there are some. Oh yes, it's that's got some brilliant. It's got a Golden Demon pages in there where it's got one of the first, like pretty much. I would say because you've got the Mike McVeigh dioramas, but it's got the one from one of the Golden Demons, which was the rat skin versus Spire warriors in the very Underhive diorama. That one, absolutely gorgeous diorama. It's probably the first diorama I saw which really made me really want to try a diorama at some point in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever done any, Danny? Have you ever done any dioramas?
No, I've never actually got my hand to doing any dioramas yet. That's something I really do want to try and do. It's probably something I'm going to try and do for my YouTube channel at some point.
Yeah.
Try and do one using some like old hammer model sort of thing. Like especially like Necromunda or Necromunda I think would make really good dioramas. Some really interesting ones, that one.
For sure. Yeah.
Because I love like the Necromunda models as well.
Oh man. Yeah, those are some of my favorite models, is that original Necromunda like range. Yeah. Man, I freaking love those models. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. My favorite ones was always the Eschers, the Goliath, Ratskins, or the Redemptionists. I love that. I always love them. Like the Redemptionists, just because they're crazy flamer wielding lunatics. The Ratskins had the two best. Well, the main best character ever, which was the guy on the zombie giant rat.
Yeah.
I can't remember what his name was, and you had the other guy with the heavy stubber that just blast away at people from everywhere. Like those two characters were brilliant.
They were so beautiful. Yeah, I always wanted one of those Escher gangs. I never got one back in the day. I still need to remedy that because those Just Goodwin sculpts they're some of my favorites. I absolutely love those models.
Yeah.
I remember we got back into Necromunda about 10 years ago, and at that point, like they stopped making all the old models, so we just converted our own gangs out of other model kits, which is kind of fun and cool.
Yeah.
But my buddy played Redemptionist, and I figured out pretty quickly how broken the Redemptionists were with all those.
Oh, really?
Oh my God! I never played against them before, and with all those flamers, man, they are freaking broken. If you know what you're doing, yeah, they are freaking broken. If you know what you're doing, it's kind of crazy, but they're cool nonetheless. I love the idea.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, to be fair, anyone that plays against me is generally quite safe with that because I play like an absolute potato most of the time. So I could have probably the most broken army you've got, and I'd still lose.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't mean, like the kind of people I play with. We don't really play the power game and never have.
No.
And I don't think he intentionally tried to do that, but we all kind of quickly realized we're like, wow, this is kind of busted.
Yeah.
But he kind of like altered his gang pretty quickly, and it was fine. But like, yeah, I was like, man, if somebody really wanted to power game this would be ridiculous.
Oh yeah. I have found that like every now and again you do it because I'm mostly like so I call it doobie and donuts player rather than a beer and pretzels player.
Yeah.
But you will always find like you can always play them the funnest way possible. But every now and again, you'll always come across that one list you make that's just got a couple of things in there. It's just, I didn't realize they were so powerful. Oops.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, and that's kind of a thing with a lot of old Games Workshop games, period. They're not too hard to break anyways, you know. So, you know, you kind of have to play with the spirit of fun with a lot of those games. Otherwise, it's not gonna be fun. It's gonna be ridiculous. You know?
Yeah. And it does help as well, like I say, you know, if your mates aren't really like that, then you'll do that, and then that'll be the army that comes out again, or that'll be the warband or gang that comes out again when they want to challenge. Like, do you fancy playing that one again to see what you can do?
Sure. Yeah. It could be fun, you know, every once in a while, you know, kind of like, you know, I don't mind keep playing that list, and you kind of develop a list to you know, and that's kind of fun. Yeah, I agree with that actually. You know, I've definitely had that experience.
Yeah, I mean that's the sort of players that I like the fun sort of players that you can try and find, even if you do find the broken list. It's like, no, you keep going it, because I'll try and find something that works against it, and then
right.
Like you say, you know that the next game you get a bit tired of that, so it's like, no, let's just do fluffy something or other and see what works and have a laugh.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Whereas, especially, I mean, in my local area, the tournament scene's become so prevalent that everyone's just tournament players. So if you're a fun player, if you just go to throw down and see what you've got and see how it does, you don't stand a chance. I just got my ass handed to me in every single game all the time.
Right.
Typically by turn 3.
Yeah, I got really, when I got back into the hobby, which was about 15 years ago, you know, I had a period there where I got out of it for a while, and I got back into it, and the whole atmosphere kind of changed, like completely opposite from what it was when I was gaming before. And so it was very much that, you know, everybody was very tournament oriented, and everybody was trying to play to win. And the painting had completely changed too, by the way. You know, I was still painting like I did in the 90s, and it was a completely different, you know, atmosphere. It was just, you know, the whole hobby had changed a whole lot. And I did get wrapped up in the whole tournament scene for a while there, because that's what everybody was doing. And I was a decent enough player that I could hang with everybody, but I kind of got tired of everybody power gaming and all that. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a power game list and kick everybody's ass. And so I did, but I also made a really themed list. You know, I really like the Eldar Harlequins. I've always been a fan of the Harlequins.
Yeah.
So I made an all Harlequin army. At the time, it was 5th edition, and everybody was like, man, this is not going to work. You know, how are you going to make like an all Harlequin army and make this competitive? And we played in this big tournament, and I came in 2nd place with that Harlequin army. And it was, you know, completely themed army and everything. And everybody was just really shocked and surprised.
Nice.
But I got really burned out at doing the tournaments pretty quickly.
Yeah, see, I just never gelled with that style of play at all.
Yeah, I really didn't either. It really, for me, I don't find miniature gaming to be a good outlet for competitive play. That's just me.
No.
I just don't find it to be, there's just too many factors involved for most miniature games to be great for competitive gaming.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel. Now, I you know, don't get me wrong. I like to win. I play to win. I like to compete with each other and have a good fun. But it's you get what I'm saying. It's like I just don't think it's good for all out, you know, win to no cost kind of game, you know.
No, like that's kind of I agree with that one. It's like there's too many random elements to it.
Yeah,
right. It doesn't quite, like, you put in the dice work and everything else like that. You know, I mean, you can have the best laid plans, you get bad dice rolls, and that's it. You're done. You know, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not the best player. You know,
sure.
Like I said, I quite enjoy winning, but I lose more than I win, usually because I do something stupid in the middle of the game.
Right.
Like, think it's a good idea to charge the Devastator squad into combat with a unit of Khorne Berserkers or something dumb like that.
Yeah. I just don't even care, like, nowadays. I couldn't even tell you if I won or lost the last game. Like, I don't it doesn't even matter to me. What matters to me is like getting together with good friends, hanging out, having a couple brews, and just having a good time, and showing off our newest miniatures we got on the table, and having good looking terrain, and we're just shooting the shit and having a good time, and and we we're definitely being competitive. We're trying to win, but at the same time, all that's kind of like secondary to just having a good time and hanging out with friends. That's really what's the most important thing to me.
That's the balance. I think being able to play with somebody that's a good mate and you're having a good time and no one's out there to just rumple stomp anybody. It's about that you want the other person to be competitive and that you want them to give them a really good game, because the opposite is that you don't really care and you couldn't care less, and then you're really just not giving your opponent a good game.
Right.
Like I've been in situations where I played Infinity, not so much with Warhammer, where Infinity, where I got to a certain point. I said, okay, that's it. I'm out. I think you've almost crippled me. I just can't see any way coming back in this game, and I'm just going to say I'm just calling it now. Or I've just got to a point where it's just stressed me out so much. It's like
right.
This is not fun anymore. I'm just not enjoying it. But I'm doing a disservice to the person I'm playing against, because it's not their fault that I'm just having a bad day with the dice, or it's just not working out well for me. But then I'm giving them a disservice because they've made the time and effort to come down and play me, and now I'm just throwing the game. And that kind of sucks. That hasn't happened so much with the Games Workshop games I've been playing since I got back into that, or other game systems, because the Infinity, and not to single it out or anything like that, but it's very much very much driven by the tournament system and the points that you get, because every time you win, you can register your points on their ITS system, and it became a very competitive but social at the same time scene, and everyone had to really be on the A game to beat certain lists, and you try to find the meta and all that kind of stuff, and I found it very hard to keep up with all of that. Great bunch of guys who are part of it, but with the exception of a few dickheads that joined later. But I think overall it's a really good game, really good system, really well written rules and everything like that. It just became just a bit too serious for me at the end. Whereas Warhammer takes all that away, and I find that, but it still has elements of it. But I think it depends how you look at it. If you want to play the meta game or you want to play for fun. But it's very much relies on the person you're playing with, very much so, because you can have someone who plays Warhammer for 2nd edition who really wants to be gamey about it and just looking to table somebody because they've found the ultimate trick list that does everything. It's suited for every other army. And they know everything. They know your army inside out. They know all your exploits and all your weaknesses. And I suppose some people get off on that, and they're finding the other person who can match them in that sense. So and for them, if you're not of the same mindset, they're not going to get the same gratification out of playing the game that they need. And, so there's certain elements for that as well. I suppose Magic the Gathering. I've never been a Magic the Gathering player. I've never played it, but maybe that's that kind of mindset where those people who enter that game, into the competitions, they're looking for that thrill of finding the person, the ultimate opponent, where it's really tight and it all counts on that draw and whatever cards they have and their plays and stuff like that. So there's certainly a desire for that, but not from my perspective of gaming anyway.
No.
Yeah, and it's not, I don't say any of that stuff to knock anybody that enjoys that style of play, because every kind of game, no matter what it is, everybody's got a different way to approach playing it and how they get their enjoyment out of it. And, that's cool. That's fine. I have no problem with that. That's not how I have fun and appreciate miniature games, especially. And especially like a lot of the older Games Workshop games, they really were not designed for that kind of play. You know, if it just is not. If you try to play those games that way, it becomes very unfun very quickly. I've learned.
Yeah.
You know, like you were talking about Infinity, where like Infinity is kind of designed for that. Even though I still don't think it's miniature games are a great tournament avenue. Was designed with that in mind. Or stuff like, which I don't think is even around anymore. What was that game? The one with the like steampunk robots and stuff.
War Machine?
Malifaux?
No, not Malifaux.
War Machine.
War Machine. Yeah, War Machine.
No, War Machine's still going, mate. It's still going fairly well.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't know if it's going on anymore. I haven't seen it in a long time, but War Machine kind of felt that way to me too, that it was very much designed for that kind of play. You know?
Yeah, I've got a mate that does War Machine, and he's gone to a few tournament style things, and that was I believe from what he was saying, that was one of the tournaments that were one of the last to implement like 3 color minimum. Like you could literally show up with just your plain unpainted models. Like sometimes, like I think previously the games didn't even use terrain. You had like circular markers to say here's a forest, and there's another circular marker that here's a hill, and you know here's another, it's a lake, and there's literally nothing there except this circular bit of plastic, I think they were, or something, just said forest. You know, and as soon as as soon as that model's on there, it's in a forest. You know. Yeah,
I remember getting into War Machine when it first was coming around because I thought it was kind of cool. I had some friends that were getting into it. I was like, okay, I'll play War Machine with you guys, and we had a lot of fun just playing with us. But once we went to the store and started playing with everybody else, I quickly realized this was not the game for me because I saw that everybody had it was like a picture of a hill or like you know, like a printed thing of like forest. It was all flat terrain because you know, it actually, you know, and I was like, man, this is terrible. What are we doing? You know,
I think that's one of the things that Games Workshop has always got right is the terrain as well as the like. You look at the terrain when you set your table up and everything. It's so immersive and everything. Like even like I still personally like I prefer the old school like Blue Peter style terrain. Like I really like that, like the original stuff. Not like, mind you, then again, like a lot of the MDF stuff you can get these days. Get some really nice MDF terrain that's like you can either just give it a basic paint job as it is, or they're brilliant as just like a skeletal structure to build off of. Yeah. Like you can do some really nice stuff with some of them.
Yeah, or all the 3D printed stuff you can get nowadays. It's crazy. It's crazy what you can do. You know, like basically all the terrain we play with, you know, with my local guys, it's mostly all 3D printed stuff. Or you know, we do still have like a collection of old school like scrap built stuff we built back in the day. So I still have a collection of like old school, you know, flocked green hills that I was holding down and stuff like that, you know, we still use all that stuff. But you know, the 3D printed stuff has been a real, you know, it's been a real boon to you know, for us especially, you know, because we, you know, pretty much everybody but me has a 3D printed something.
Well, this is 3D printed. This is done by David, a mate of mine in Japan. Here, he makes all of these wonderfully. He does an incredible job on the castles and recreating all this stuff from for medieval Japanese terrain. But he kindly sent me this one he painted himself, but it's even got like the tatami mats and everything in it, which are all, you can actually take those out, and it's got like a little stove in there and everything. This is where 3D printing, I think, wins for me. It's like recreating this stuff. It's not MDF. It doesn't smell like MDF, thank goodness. It doesn't have all the MDF kind of traits that you see in the models where they have, you know, certain things sticking out everywhere. Really nice kit, and it's modular. Well, not modular in a sense, but you can take remove the roof. It's got a moving door. You can slide the doors on it, that kind of thing. So yeah, for me, this is where printing for me works the best, is making stuff like that, which I can make it, but boy, that will take me like months to do something like that, to make it to that kind of level. And it looks really, really aesthetically pleasing on the tabletop too when you put it down there and stuff. And yeah, so this kind of thing I think works beautifully for 3D printing. And my other little snippet there in terms of 2D terrain. Yeah, I know that War Machine used a lot of 2D terrain. I've only seen a couple of games where people used it, but where it works the most, I think, for me, was A Song of Ice and Fire, the miniatures game.
Okay.
All right.
That uses 2D terrain, like the forests, the trees, and all that kind of thing, all 2D terrain. It actually works, and I really prefer it in that game because you're sliding those trays on top of things,
Right.
and you can just move it on it to say that that's actually in it. It's, you know, that terrain's affecting that unit.
Yeah.
So in some senses, I think it does work, but of course, aesthetically, you want it, you know, from playing Warhammer, I don't want to play 2D terrain. I want 3D terrain. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends what
Well,
system.
at the same time, like you said, though, I always, if I'm building terrain, which I'm usually not the one building terrain because I hate building terrain.
Yeah.
But if I'm building terrain or somebody else is, I always try to tell them to make it functional. You know, I do hate terrain.
Exactly.
There's a lot of terrain that can look really cool, but it's not great when you play on it. You know, and so I always tell people when I make terrain, I always have that functionality in mind that, like, if you're going to build a forest, make sure that we can move the trees out of the way, or if you're building a hill, make sure that models can stand on the freaking hill. You know.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I've seen a lot of terrain people have built that's not very functional and it's horrible for actually playing a game. So.
Yeah,
it looks lovely, but the second you put models anywhere near it, they're sliding off it and all sorts.
Yeah. The prime example I could think of this is the store I used to play with at the time had a Games Workshop Studio board that we played on, and it was a beautiful board, but it had this huge river down the middle that was probably, the river was like, this much of a drop. It was like 6, maybe 8 inches of a drop. And of course, it's in the middle of the board. So that's where you're going to meet. And so once you get to the river, everybody's like sliding down this, 6, 8 inch drop. And it was just horrible. It was horrible. It looked beautiful, but it was a horrible piece of modeling for functionality.
Yeah, they should have followed the Adrian Wild modeling workshop, mate, for making that like this one out of making your river out of MDF, that kind of thing. The MDF rivers, the modular ones are the best ones for me. I know I can understand, and I can really appreciate a demo board where someone's beautifully crafted a scenic terrain table. I think they look amazing.
Absolutely.
You look at those from various different shows in the US or the UK. But yeah, in terms of practicality of playing on it, it just doesn't. For certain scenarios, yes, for sure. Like I'm thinking about Baron's War, where they have like a campaign set on a table that doesn't change. All the terrain elements are set in one space, in one place, all the time throughout an entire campaign. So for that, yes, you can model a terrain table just on those scenarios. Right. But then have fun trying to store it somewhere, because that's the other thing, and the thing I like about pre-measured games like Test of Honor, like other systems now, is that you can have the modular table that you've always wanted. So the 2 by 2 foot or 1 foot by 1 foot squares. Yeah. And you can make those tables because pre-measurement doesn't count anymore. Whereas Warhammer, you need a flat surface where there are no defining edges, where something's split in the middle, so someone can clearly judge and eyeball off, a foot or 2 feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they all have their advantages and disadvantages, I think. And but thanks everyone for commenting. It's been really nice to see that so many comments are coming through. And Sci-Fi says, Cody reveals he is evil. Sci-Fi's a really nice guy. He's out of Newcastle. It's only taking a piss out of him, mate. It's English humour. Harlequin's army shudders, he says. So he must have been on the wrong end of some Harlequin battles in the past, I'd say. what's it? Bleepatron say? Blingtron, sorry. I've been reading a great book on miniatures gaming design recently, and it does actually bring up a good point that's relevant here. So maybe talking about what we talked about in terms of game design, in terms of how they're going to be played, fun or for competitive play. Chess for competitive, war games for fun. Yeah, I can see that. I actually played chess the other day. Fuck, it was hard. I got my ass kicked with that too. My Nepalese friend, he gave me a game of chess, and yeah, he absolutely whooped me, mate. He was like 3 moves ahead of me. I had no idea what I was doing, and he just cleaned me up in no time. So, but he gave me lots of tips and pointers and what to do, what not to do, where to move. Don't move this, because otherwise it's chess, mate. And I said, okay, but very aggressively playing, and it really taught me that chess is really a thinking man or woman's game. That's for sure. It simply can never be as precise as people want or need it. I think that's one of the reasons why, miniature games is not really suited for that, in terms of precision for movement, because people can be very generous. They might give themselves an extra half an inch here or there, and and then the uncomfortable situation of like, I think you just moved that guy an inch further than what you should have moved it, and then it's like, I didn't do that. No, I moved it exactly how it's supposed to be moved, and sometimes it could be like an honest mistake, and in a game where it's not competitive, you can say, oh shit, yeah, actually, man, I did. Sorry, I'll move it back, and that kind of thing. But
just quickly, sci-fi. I am in the Crown of Command Discord under a different
you're
name.
on the Discord, are you?
I'll have a look. Are you Sci-Fi 72 on the Discord as well? Because if you are, then I shall.
Yeah, it is, man.
Yeah. I'll find you tomorrow, and I'll say hello, because I've got my proper name on the Discord thing. Yeah,
change your name, Danny. Change your name to Cauldron of Paint or Nostalgia Hobbies, please, because otherwise I didn't even know you're on Discord. So news to me too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't often comment very much though, so I tend to I don't do computer stuff very often, so I tend to hover in the background, see stuff come up, read it, and go, good point, and then never actually leave the comments and just leave again quietly.
So that's a good way to say to Danny to share his videos, to share his painting, and so mate, please use that Discord as a tool, if anything, to promote what you're doing and comment on stuff and stuff like that. So that's very nice of Sci-Fi to have 3 epic squigoths to help with your epic orc army, mate. That's wonderful.
Yeah, nice one, mate. Yeah. I shall have a chat with you tomorrow, mate, and find you. Thank you.
Cool. Lee says, I play HeroQuest, Advanced HeroQuest, and Warhammer Quest for those reasons. Plus, I love dungeon diving and the RPG elements. Maybe because, I think those games too bring out the fun and joy of gaming without all of the adversarial playing. You're not playing against someone, you're playing against a GM or playing against an app-driven AI system, which I really enjoy too. I really love dungeon delving, as you may have guessed. So for that reason too, you're all part of this quest together. You're all doing it together, and if you have a really good GM running it, it makes it a lot of fun. And everyone wins unless you die in the dungeon.
And then everyone dies.
And start all over again. Yeah. So,
I think that's something that's been lost a little bit, is game masters in regular miniature war games. It seems like a concept that's been lost to a lot of people, and I think if you haven't done it, I would definitely recommend giving it a go, because it completely changes the game, and it's a really, really fun aspect if you've never tried it. I think it's kind of a lost thing, I've noticed.
I was going to check if there's any snow outside still. Check it. No, it's all melted.
Oh, really? Melted already?
Yeah. Yeah, mate, it didn't take long. It took a couple of hours.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't very heavy either. I think it was mainly like frost buildup, but there was snow on that roof there this morning, but it's all gone now.
Right, I'm going to call it a night, gents.
See you, Danny.
Thanks, mate.
It's good meeting you,
Thanks
man.
again.
It's been a pleasure meeting you, Cody, my man, and a pleasure as always, Josh, mate.
Yeah, always, mate. So, thank you again, mate, for coming to entertain all our lovely viewers and myself in another Natter Splatter, or a Splatter Natter, whichever you want to say it. But yeah, okay, mate. Well, let's get together next week. Next week for my first white dwarf. I look forward to doing that with you.
Yeah, definitely, mate. 100%.
And send me a friend request on Discord, please, so I know who you are.
Yeah, we'll do.
Yeah, we're going to unveil you.
Yeah, cool. All right, man, we'll do. All right.
Okay.
Chat to everyone. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too, mate. And there is only two.
Have you ever done like a Warhammer or something with a Game Master, Josh?
We did it once with Rogue Trader.
Yeah. What'd you think?
I don't know. It was good. Yeah, I liked it. It was fun. It was something very different. It was like a story-driven thing. So basically, yeah, Paul was running it because he just got the Rogue Trader reprint book, and he wanted to try it. And Nick came up as well. So I was playing the Orcs, and Nick was playing his Eldar, and he only had 6 scouts. And the table was laid out so it was like lengthways.
Yeah.
Widthways, so lengthways.
Oh, I've seen that. I saw this. You did a video about it, right?
No, I didn't. I didn't film it at all.
Okay.
No. So I think the next time we play it, we'll definitely have to film it because we have to do at least one Rogue Trader game for the channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Paul had thought of the narrative and the story, and he gave me like my brief, and he gave Nick a brief. So Nick had a specific set of instructions what to do and where to set up on the table, and I had my own sort of instructions on what to do and my objectives. So the Orcs were coming in from one edge of the table and moving up the table. Now this was this was an Eldar world or something where they were living or something like that, and basically there was an evacuation because the Orcs had discovered it. They were coming in big ships with loads of mobs of boys, and they're basically just rolling up the table to try to kill all the surviving Eldar and all civilians. So these guardians were set up in these sort of posts, secretive to me. I didn't know where they were, all hidden on the tabletop. And as soon as they would shoot, they would pop up and reveal themselves. So that's what Nick's role was. And there was some other stuff hanging in the background that was like a timer. I thought, fuck, what's this timer about? Something was ticking down all the time. Or I think Nick had to roll a dice and that would accumulate this number. I can't remember exactly what it was. I thought maybe the world was going to blow up or something. I don't know. But I kept rolling up and trying to hunt down these Elder scouts and guardians. So they were scouts, yeah. And he was shooting me off and picking me off from left, right, and center. And I had like just an undisclosed amount of Orcs. It was they just kept coming on, like they just kept respawning or whatever. So I pushed him right to the back of the table, and I think he managed to rescue all the civilians and get off world. And that's all I can remember. I don't think there was a real winner or loser, but obviously there were there were sort of goals and objectives in the games to win and to lose. But I can't remember who won or lost, and I don't think it really mattered. I think we just had a really fun experience. It was just fun.
It makes for a really interesting gaming experience. I really enjoy it. I've done it a lot. I got that idea actually because I was gaming with the historical guys. and they always do that. That's how they run their games. Is they always have a game master. He brings all the stuff. He sets up the scenario, and there's certain objectives. You get a brief, all that stuff, right? So that's where I got that in my head. And when I got back into gaming and started looking at Rogue Trader and fantasy, I realized, that was a concept that went way, way back. That was even part of Warhammer. So we did a lot of that in the past and had a lot of fun with it. I would actually like to do some more in the present. It's been a while since I've tried it with Warhammer. But it can make for a really interesting experience. I think different from what most people are used to. Besides just bringing, okay, I'm going to bring 2,000 points. You bring 2,000 points. We're going to roll up, objective or whatever, or draw a card and see what our objective is. Instead, you have a game master that is creating like a very interesting narrative scenario. You don't even know what your list is going to be, right? Like he's going to bring the forces for you, tell you how you're going to set up, what you got to do. And he can add all these random elements in the middle of the game, right? Which is really cool. So I think that's a really cool thing to do if you've never tried it. I would recommend it to people that have never tried it out. You can do it with really any game system. You don't have to run like Rogue Trader, to run a game that way. You could do that with modern Warhammer, I imagine, or whatever game system you're running. I think it would work just fine. But it's a really interesting thing to try out if you've never tried it before. It's really fun.
Yeah, definitely, mate.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a video game because the GM is kind of like the game.
Yeah.
As you're playing, you don't know what's going to happen next, and something will happen. Oh man, I wasn't expecting that, so it was a nice surprise, or
Yeah.
So I like that element of surprise and not knowing what's going to happen next. Maybe that's why I like Advanced HeroQuest a lot, because it has that as well. It's like you don't know what's around next corner. You don't know what you're going to roll up. You don't know what wandering monsters are going to come and attack you. You don't know what treasure they're holding.
Yeah.
So I really like that about it too. That sort of that sense of adventure. I think the Rogue Trader element has that. The 3rd edition fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't really know much about that. I haven't explored it much, but maybe 2nd edition had that more.
Yeah, it definitely has. Yeah.
So, I think now I don't know if you've heard about this game from Grateful Now Games called Guards of Traitors' Toll.
Nope, never heard of it.
Okay, Google it, mate. Google it. Guards of Traitors' Toll.
Okay.
And have a look.
Google it.
Yeah, I think you'll really like it because it's basically old style Warhammer, medieval Europe.
Yeah.
Where we have like a set of guards patrolling the streets, and it looks like to be a card-driven kind of system or AI-driven system where the bandits or the cutthroats or whatever these guys, the mercenaries you're trying to catch, are committing crimes, and you've got to try to apprehend them basically and take them out. It's a really cool looking game. Yeah.
This looks awesome. Graham Davies wrote this.
That's it, mate. The Test of Honor, same systems, Test of Honor.
Cool.
So go and check that. I thought you might like that.
That looks pretty interesting.
Similar taste in mine to me. Yeah. Beautiful artwork. I love everything about all the concept artwork is awesome. I'm really looking forward to that. But that looks very similar to that kind of narrative style game. Yeah. Where, for sure. And I'm not sure if it's cards that draw out the narrative. I'm not really sure, but there's certain. But each game's gonna be different, and I suppose you have like a set objective for the guardsmen to try to patrol and find these people who are, committing crimes or whatever in the city. Yeah. But I like that about Test of Honor too, where you've got you don't have complete control over what's happening. I think that's one of the elements I really like about that. I think Bolt Action has a similar kind of system where you're drawing things out of a bag and you have to just play out whatever happens. You don't have full control over what's going on. And that can drive the narrative out of it too. Yeah,
even that like random activation, which is in Bolt Action, and a lot of really old games. Like there's a really old World War II game called Battleground that we play a lot in the historical club. It uses a deck of cards. So it's the same thing like Bolt Action, where you draw dice. Instead of drawing dice, you're drawing cards, and every unit has a certain suit of a card. It's related to a certain card. So this Panzer unit might be the 2 of hearts, and you draw that, and that's when you can activate that unit. It has the same kind of thing. That does really add a different element, whole different element to the game that makes it really exciting. Actually, I've used that like in 40K. Actually, we've used the bolt action system for 40K, drawing dice.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and it could be a really fun way to play 40K. Just doing that, doing the random activation. Usually, even when I play 40K nowadays, at the very least, we usually do alternate activation, just because I find that works a little bit better than, one side doing all their stuff at once, because it doesn't give that person the opportunity to just alpha strike and wipe you off the board. So everybody can do one thing at a time, and you're kind of reacting to each other what you're both doing.
Yeah.
So I even nowadays, like, that's kind of how I've incorporated that into like my 2nd edition and Rogue Trader 40K games and stuff. It can be really it's a really good option. Yeah. And narrative play is really good too, like you said, with the GM, but it's not something I always want to do. Sometimes it's just like, hey, it's Sunday afternoon, I'm going to bring 1,500 points. You bring 1,500 points, and we'll just throw down and have a good game, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But a game master does add a really interesting element. That it's an element that I think has been kind of lost to a lot of war gamers. That I think more need to explore, because I think they could get some fun out of it. It's really cool. Yeah,
definitely, mate. Who was I talking to the other day? That's right, Scott, my sponsor, Black Arrow Minis, great guy. He lives in Austin, Texas. I thought maybe he was close to you. Maybe he's about 10 hours away.
Yeah, Austin's a little ways. Yeah,
unfortunately. Yeah, but we were talking about, we were talking about different things. We were talking about Baron's War and that kind of thing. And I said another game I really enjoyed playing, which had a card-based element for activation, was that Never Mind the Bill Hooks.
Oh yeah, it's a really good game. Yeah,
really good game, mate. I really enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah,
because again, it just takes away all the, like, you just dealt the cards, and whatever the cards bring up, that's what you got to deal with. And I really like that. It was something so refreshing and different.
Yeah, it's really fun. Is that the one that uses, like, you don't use dice? Is that the game, and you play it on a grid, or is this another game I'm thinking of?
You use dice to resolve combats, like hand-to-hand combat shooting, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But the cards, like Battle Masters, you draw a card and it tells you which if it's the English or the French that can activate a unit.
Right. Yeah. I've played. There's another game. So I have a friend here that has been running 100 Years War. He has a whole collection that he painted up both sides. We've been playing that a lot. We've been playing Never Mind the Bill Hooks, and there's another game we've been playing that only uses a deck of cards for everything, and you play it actually on a gridded board. So there's no measuring or anything. You play it. You can either mark out the grid with, whatever little stones or whatever. We have a battle mat with a little grid on it, and it's really good. It plays really well, and you use a deck of cards for everything. So you use it for combat and initiative and everything. It's really, really fun. But Never Mind the Bill Hooks. We played that a few times, and I've really enjoyed it. It's a really good game. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Yep. I really like it. I think it's a great system. So there's some really good game designs out there, and it's just about exploring those and just checking them out and seeing the pros and cons to them, I think. Now, Bleetron says this is another popular game, Dead Man's Hand. I heard about that, but I've never played it. But I know it's very popular. But it has like the deck of cards to play with your gangs, and but we misread a rule and accidentally improved the game. Okay, well, there you go. I think they've got a 2nd edition out for that one now, from memory. By playing, drawing far too many of the ability cards that could counter each other, so it didn't get too silly. Okay. Again, I have no experience with it. Cody, have you played Dead Man's Hand, mate?
Never played it, but it does sound pretty similar to the old Deadlands skirmish game we played back in the 90s, which I have over there. I forget the Rail Wars, which was the name of it. And it used dice, but it also used a deck of cards for certain things. So it was a Wild West game, but it was kind of like it was still like you had units of troops and stuff. But it was kind of small scale. It was kind of the scale of like second edition 40K, kind of the same thing. You know, it wasn't too many models. You probably had like maybe 20, 30, 40 models on the board, you know, somewhere between that range. But I remember it used a deck of cards to resolve like certain things. But no, I haven't played Dead Man's Hand. It looks really cool. I definitely like to try it out. I love some Wild West skirmish. I love the
old
old
alley, mate. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're living the Wild West.
Well, not really. Tennessee's not really Wild
I'm
West.
just joking with you. Yeah.
We played a lot of Legends of the Old West back in the day. I don't know if you ever played that, the Games Workshop Wild West game. It was really good.
Yeah.
It was basically like Necromunda, but like the Wild West.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's a really good game. If you've never tried it, I definitely recommend
Never
giving
heard
it
of
a
it.
look. Yeah,
I
it's
never
really
heard-
good.
I never. Is that under the historical range? Is it right? Okay.
And I used to have the rule book for it, but it got ruined.
Oh,
But
that's a shame.
yeah, it is. But it's a really good game if you ever can get a hold of a copy. It's not very, like most of the historical Warhammer historical stuff, it's pretty hard to find nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah, true. It is, mate. It is. Yeah, and they did produce some really good quality stuff. Actually, I've got to say,
Mhm.
they did. League of Dungeoneers is a good dungeon crawler game. Bit complex. It evolved out of a gamer group that played Warhammer Quest. Wow, there you go. League of Dungeoneers. Haven't heard of it, Emperor Jim. I'll need to check it out, mate.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm very keen to look at that because I've actually been looking for a good dungeon crawling game to play. You know, of course, I love Warhammer Quest and HeroQuest and all that, but I've been looking for a good like generic system that I could find mainly to play with my nieces and nephews that are young right now. And I thought like a dungeon crawl game would be perfect to introduce them to, you know, wargaming and role playing kind of at the same time. So I've been looking for a good game to do that. We played the old TSR Dungeon, which is very simple, but they had a lot of fun with that. And I've been looking for a good game that's a little bit more advanced, so I might look into that. That sounds cool because I haven't seen too many like just generic dungeon crawling games out there. I don't think there's really that many. It seems like when I was searching, you know, besides like all the typical ones we can all think of that are really expensive to get into.
Okay, so Cora Quest is good for kids.
Cool. Okay. Well, I'll definitely look for that. Because yeah, definitely my nieces right now are very keen on playing games. They really like games. Every time we get together, that's kind of a family thing we do when we have family get-togethers. I bring a board game or something, and we play games together. And especially my oldest niece, she's going to be a big nerd. She's already a nerd, and she's at that ripe age right now. Yeah. She's like 10. She's at the same age I was in when I was into that stuff, and she's really into games. And we've been playing I've been playing games with her since she was very small, and she's really into games. She's really into fantasy and science fiction and stuff. So I've been trying to slowly introduce her to more and more advanced and interesting things. And so yeah, that looks like a good one. So yeah, I'll check that out.
Cool, mate. That's great. I'm wonderful. That's lovely that she's getting into gaming. That's great, and should be very much encouraged. So that's excellent. Mate.
Yeah,
okay, my friend. Well,
she does.
I think I'm going to have to wrap it up today. We've done very well over 3 hours, and I hope it's kept you entertained. You've got your stuff painting, which is excellent. I'm really happy to see you painting, and I just want to thank everybody who's been part of the chat today, and thank Danny who was part of the live stream also. But it's great to see you back again, Cody. You're welcome anytime, mate. Anytime we're doing Natter, jump in.
For having me.
Okay, so there's no limit. Anybody can come in and have a Natter with us. So I really appreciate it, mate.
Yeah,
but you enjoy the rest of your afternoon with your lovely lady there, and we'll catch up again soon, mate.
All right, see you later.
Okay, take care, mate. Thank you.